Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is for, well, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. We're going to do the live commentary. Basically, what's going on here tonight is I'm watching the fight. I have it live. For those of you that can't find the fight or are watching streams on the pirate airwaves, I'm basically just going to try, I guess, to do some sort of play-by-play. This might go terribly, horribly wrong, but to try to make this a little bit better, I brought in the best color commentator I could find to do some boxing color commentary tonight. But now we got with us the one and only, the best, and as Tony always says, something I will reiterate, a legit friend in this situation. Of all the people I've met out in this context, one of my closest real friends, and yes, that's true. I actually have friends, regardless of whatever my mom tells me. I do. I have a couple, but the one and only Tony motherfucking Teflon. How's it going, Tony?
What's the deal, my people? You know this Don Tony Teflon. You don't know what's up, Phil, for having me. Big fight night. It's funny. That's a big fight night with people that probably, I think, if you add both their ages, they're 105 years old, and that makes it a big fight night. But yet, it shows you the star power of Mike Tyson and these older fighters, that they have more star power than a lot of these younger fighters, which is crazy, but it's true. So thank you for having me on. Looking forward to doing up this commentary on these boxes. And what up to everybody out there in the chat? I can't see you right now. I'm gonna see if I can pull up my phone so I can see you guys up there and see who actually is out there representing with us.
It's amazing to me that this fight is getting, from a boxing standpoint, and again, you know a lot more and are tapped in a lot more to boxing currently than I am, like incredible amount more. And it's amazing that this fight is getting this kind of hype, because is there a potential here, Tony? Like, everyone's excited to see this. I'm excited to see Mike Tyson fight again. But as you mentioned, this is the combined age of 178 years old. I mean, it's not that big. But is there a potential of this fight being a too exhibition-y? Could that possibly happen here? Could we be?
I would, so it's built up. The way Mike Tyson has built it up and the way he has promoted the fight is that it will not be like that. Like, he promoted the fight to the point where he's saying that he's going to go in there and fight like it's a real fight. Like, he's going in there to hurt Roy Jones. That's what they're trying to build up. But when you have that build up, yeah, and I'm from New York, right? And I'm from the days of when boxing was controlled, you know what I'm saying, by the underworld, so to say. And when I look at the hype job that Mike Tyson put out there, and it was a great promotion that he's did. But when you look at the hype job that he put out there, you definitely see why everyone believes he's going to win this fight. It's been a hype to the point where there's no way Mike Tyson can lose this fight, right? But when I start thinking about, the people running the show behind the scenes, and I see all this money get loaded on Mike Tyson, it makes me think that, something could be happening when Mike Tyson doesn't pull this off.
Yeah, it's
in the end. It just makes me a little nervous when you see it's so hyped that Mike is going to win this fight that it seems a little bit, shady. But we're going to see. We're here to watch it. I'm here to watch it. But I can see Mike Tyson it being a show. But from what Mike Tyson is saying, the way he's taking it, he's saying he's taking it seriously. And he has plans for other fights after this. And if that's the case, then he definitely has to put on a good show tonight. He's definitely got to go up there and make people want to see him fight a Holyfield next, because that's what he's talking, or a Lennox Lewis next. And then if he somehow get Anthony Joshua or maybe even Tyson Fury in the ring, we'll see what happens then. So we'll see how it goes.
Now, it's interesting here because Tyson, to your point here, some of the rules of this fight, a lot of people are throwing out. We were talking about it last night on Tony's channel. Some of the rules are different from a normal boxing match. It's 2-minute rounds instead of 3-minute rounds. The gloves are a small difference. They're not those comic big ridiculous gloves, but slightly bigger gloves. And there's someone's doing points, but it's not official. It's 3 judges that are doing it unofficial. But one misconception that people have, and this is why I think you're right about this, is Mike made sure that knockouts can count. There's no real winner, but you can knock the guy out. And they're not wearing headgear. I think Tyson's going in here with the intention to knock Roy out. And I don't know from what we've seen, and I can put the picture up. I can't show it to you right now, Tony. I don't think, but you've seen this one. It's the picture of the weigh-in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put this up on the screen right here. This is Tyson at the weigh-in versus Roy in the weigh-in. Now, by looking at these two men, who do you think is ready? Who's ready for this fight? And let me see if I can show the picture. Show the picture to you, Tony. That I'm looking at.
I know what picture. I see them at the weigh-in too.
Yeah,
so.
there it is. That's the picture. If you can see that one. But anyways, so I think Mike is going in here, and Mike's in a lot better shape. But is ring rust a real thing, Tony? And is the fact that Roy boxed in 2018 and Mike hasn't fought since 2005, is that something to be worried about? Is some of the editing tricks that we saw in those Tyson videos where he was looked really awesome, was that some movie magic? Is it going to be hard? What's it going to be like to see Tyson in a ring after not being in there since 2005?
Yeah, that's the whole thing, and that's the selling point. The way they're selling it, the way you've seen all the promotional videos of Mike Tyson sparring in the ring, getting back into shape and everything else. You didn't see that of Roy, right? You didn't see anything like that of Roy. You've seen a couple of things. It was mostly Mike. So they're selling it to you that they show Mike doing these animal. I mean, he just did a Thanksgiving. He had a head of Roy Jones baked shaped as a cake. And he cut the ear off the cake and said it tastes better than Holyfield and ate it, right?
He's a
doing
comedian.
all these things to make you believe that Mike Tyson is the 20-year-old Mike Tyson. But that's why they keep he's not the 20-year-old Mike. He can never be that Mike Tyson again. It's impossible. You just don't turn back the hands of time. But that's what they're trying to sell you on, and is that he can all of a sudden turn back the clock. And he has such a huge fan base. People still love him. I mean, when you come down to sport icons or most recognizable people in the world, Mike Tyson's one of those people that if he goes anywhere in the world, people know who Mike Tyson is.
And he has a whole different audience that came through mainstream success of movies, the cartoon Mike Tyson's Mysteries. People it continues that aura of Mike Tyson, of course, with video games and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which was a while ago, but with the consistent success and rebirth of retro gaming, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was to a whole new audience too. Mike Tyson is a legend in the way that, I was going to say just from a video game standpoint, in the way that Bo Jackson was in Tecmo Bowl. But I want to jump in the live motherfucking chat because we're not...
Real quick, before you do, they're showing right now, they're showing LL Cool J talking about Mike Tyson. And it's funny that, that they show LL Cool J, and LL Cool J is a huge Mike Tyson fan. He's always said his whole career. But when LL had beef with Cannabis, Mike Tyson was the one who did the intro and for Cannabis to diss LL in the song. So it's funny that LL is here repping for Mike Tyson, but when it came down to it, and LL had beef with Cannabis, as I said, it was Mike Tyson who did the intro for Cannabis and did all the hook for Cannabis, basically, to diss LL.
And I know it's not the same thing, but it's funny how this whole thing is sponsored by Weed Maps. Weed Maps is getting
that Mike Tyson's company?
Or no, that's I think they're just doing the sponsorship of this fight. They're a company that will give you a map to the closest weed store. It's like an Uber weed thing.
And the judges, from what I see, are all former boxers, right? I think Christy Martin's a judge. And it's weird, too, that these judges all had ties with Don King at one time or another. So I'm saying something fishy.
The fix is it. I do have to say, just from a visual standpoint, I dig the set. I like the way it looks, considering there's no audience. It kind of has a real it's a real show aspect of it, a real theater, a real almost like a wrestling stage vibe to build up some extra hype, considering there's not an audience there. Jay left a message. I will get into that, but to get to the live motherfucking chat, because we're not alone, we got Bridge in the live chat. People are asking what the Vegas odds are. Bridge says, I don't think you can bet on it, at least not in Vegas since it's an exhibition, but I'm pretty sure there's money moving along somewhere. Tubbs wants to know if Roy was training at McDonald's. What was Roy training at McDonald's? Great to see you, Tubbs.
Roy definitely looks like he didn't. It looks like I don't know how. It looks like someone hit the alarm clock and said, "Hey, you got to weigh in today." He was like, "I do, fuck." Okay,
Yeah.
let's
Okay.
get this over with.
Okay.
It just went down there and everything else. So
Okay.
that's the way it seems like to me.
Now I actually have to bring up. I got to do it in a second here, Tony. I'm gonna when I get a moment, I'm gonna bring up a picture of Damon Wayans from the Great White Hype and put it right next to Roy Jones Jr. just to see the comparison, because you said it and I think it's accurate. I also want to add that if anyone, Jay left a message and I'll play it in a second here. If you want to leave a voicemail tonight during the fight or during any of the fights, you can do that at 781-990-8509. You can see that number on the screen. And it's also in the chat right now. We're into our second fight that's about to start. And no, thank you, Tubbs. Great to have you in the live chat. Great to have Bernie. Great to have Santivia Major. Great to have the motherfucking Bridge in the live chat. Bliss, a sensitive man. Eat at McDonald's. Richie, Tim F. Oh, great to see all of our good friends in the live motherfucking chat tonight to join us for this boxing match. And it's gonna be fun. Are you excited for any of these other fights? Do you have any interest in? Are you interested in the Nate Robinson versus the
I'm
Paul brothers?
interested in the Paul and the Nate Robinson fight. Obviously, Nate Robinson is, he played for the Knicks, so I'm a big Knicks fan. So obviously, I want to see what he got. And I think that when dealing with that fight, if we want to talk about that fight real quick, I think that it's a tougher fight than people give it credit for. Now, I've seen Paul fight before. I keep saying it's Logan, but it's not Logan. This is the younger brother, who's actually more popular than Logan, I do believe. But I've seen him fight before.
Jake? Is it Jake Paul, maybe?
Yeah, Jake Paul, something like that. But I've seen the kid fight before. And, he trained with Sugar Shane Mosley. I'm friends with Sugar Shane Mosley. In fact, one of my good friends, D. Kelly, is really good friends with Shane Mosley. So I've seen the kid fight, and he had a good trainer in Sugar Shane Mosley. And I will say this, that when that fight does happen, I know that he's going to come in disciplined as a boxer. Like, he's not going to just come in there, rush him, throwing wild punches like an amateur. He's really going to come in there disciplined, work behind the jab, throw the right hand, hook off the right off that. He's going to come in disciplined. Now, will Nate Robinson do so? I don't know if Nate Robinson's ever boxed before or anything like that, so I don't know what his particular skill set is. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. Because if Nate Robinson just comes in there and tries to bum rush him, now maybe he could scare him to the point and catch him with something. But if he doesn't, he's going to wear himself out and be tired really early. And, amateur style street fighting doesn't really work for someone who really knows how to box. So we'll see. It should be an interesting fight.
Yeah, that's one of those things I'm kind of interested to see from the standpoint if one of them knows how to box and one of them doesn't, to kind of see the clash of styles and see what a trained boxer would do with someone that's just kind of someone has some physical assets but doesn't actually know how to formulaically box. It might be interesting. What I don't like is, I forget the show when they would have celebrity boxing and it would be like Dustin Diamond versus Danny Bonaducci in boxing, and it was just both of them going like this. Like I don't want to see one of those.
Yeah, they had Paula Jones fight Tanya Harding.
Yeah, what was that show? I forgot what it was. But I watched like every episode of it because it was horrible.
And then her headgear was like, because she had a nose job.
Yep.
But she had this huge headgear that stuck all the way out so her nose couldn't go out. I remember everyone thought, Tanya Harding, she's so good. She may be able to become a professional boxer. Listen, she beat Paula Jones. It wasn't like she fought someone. She get in there with like a Carissa Shields or a real professional woman boxer, Christy Barnes. She get her head taken right off. That's just the bottom line. So, it be what it be, you know what I'm saying? But it was entertaining. It was funny. I mean, Canseco got knocked out.
Yeah, Canseco got fucked up. Dustin Diamond wasn't bad, Tubbs. Yeah, I'm bragging on him, but he wasn't bad. Celebrity Deathmatch was amazing. That's one of those shows, if we're in this age, and I'm not a big fan of the reboots and shows coming back, but if they could bring one show from, like, if I could suggest one, Celebrity Deathmatch would be an excellent return show. That'd be great. It was called Celebrity Boxing, Santivia. Thank you.
So we got Badou Jack is in here. I've watched Badou Jack. He had his loss last time, I think, out when I seen him fight. He's not a bad fighter, Badou Jack. I think he should be the favorite going into this. We'll see what he has left in the tank after taking that last loss that he took. But I've seen him in some really good fights. He usually gets into a lot of brawls. Usually, it's bloody fights with Badou Jack. So,
it seemed like
we'll see what he's got.
It seemed like they packed the card with fighters that would put on visual good shows. I think that's what they're hoping for tonight, because this is the beginning of several cards that this production company wants to put on. And Bridge was talking about this the other night, and it's true. I was reading about it in the sense that they're really trying to bring some other older athletes back for these big evening performances going on, and this is the first one, and I think they really want this one to pop. They want this one to get a lot of positivity. So I think they're putting some what they hope to be some entertaining fights on tonight.
Well, yeah, it's all about matchmaking, styles to make fights. So if you get a guy in there, you know who charges in head first. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You know, there was a lot, always good fighters. I mean, when you look at Arturo Gatti.
I was just about to say that's what made the Mickey Ward Gotti fight so good, is because
all matchmaking. Were they too great? I think Mickey Ward did make the Canastota Boxing Hall of Fame. I know he was trying to. I'm not sure if he did. But you know, when you have guys who are, you know, who's going to come straight forward, who's going to take a bunch of punches, and you know it's going to be an entertaining fight. The funny thing about that fight is that when Gatti fought that fight, he usually fought that style, but he got with Buddy McGirt, and Buddy McGirt got him boxing. So he actually boxed that first fight, and that's why he really won that fight. But the pressure, you know, Gatti was just that type of thing, that instinct he would have just to brawl with you. So if you just hit him a couple of times, like he just always would resort back to, all right, I'm going to stand here and trade with you. And that's what made those fights so good. So far, we got Badou Jack. He's backing the man up with a good left jab. He's coming forward. The other guy is circling back to his left right now, looping overhand right. That missed a mile. Badou Jack working behind the jab very well, I would say, right now.
Yeah,
coming forward, but good left hook to the body, good right hook to the body.
Yeah, he seems in control of the fight, in control of the ring. Not really. Nothing seems to be phasing him right now. He's just playing his game plan and going in right there. And the live motherfucking chat, Jay says Jake's gonna KO Nate in round 1 or 2. Remember that when Tyson had that little girl fight all the time, his cards, she was a little KO artist. Damn, I forget her name. Chrissy something. Oh, remember when I think
Chrissy Martin.
Yeah, I think Tony was talking about her earlier.
Yeah, that was Chrissy Martin. She's actually a judge tonight. I've met Chrissy Martin many a times. Interesting fact, you know, people don't know anything about Chrissy Martin, but I'll say her manager was her husband. And when I met Christy Martin, I met her at the Boxing Hall of Fame, and she put her arm around me and took the picture. She wasn't doing that with a lot of people, but she did it with me. And I had my arm around her, and the husband came and he knocked my arm off her shoulder, and he was a much older guy than her, right? So later on in life, I find out he shoots her. She comes out and it says that she's she has a girlfriend, and that she's been a lesbian. And he shot her, and she almost died, and she survived that shooting, and he's in jail right now. So this shows you how jealous that man truly was. But yeah, that's a Christy Martin story. I think they're working on a movie with that right now, so we possibly could see it. But that was a good sneaky right hand by this guy on Badou Jack. Badou Jack, he's got his left hand really low. I mean, and so I think that would be the one problem I could see him running into. He controlled the first round, easy win for the first round for Badou Jack, but he's keeping his left hand extremely low. He's got to get that left hand up. He's not pulling it back to his chin. When he pulls it back, it's falling down on his waist. So this guy does have a chance to land, if he times right, a good right hand over the top of his lazy left jab.
Sorry, I'm looking at pictures of Damon Wayans from Great White Hype right now. I forgot. It's not quite as bad as. I mean,
no, it's not that bad.
Roy's not quite that bad. but it's not entirely inaccurate either.
No, it's not. It's not that bad. It looks like he started there and worked his way a little bit over from there to where he is now.
Yeah. Like
he still needed. Roy looked like he still needed like a month and a half more of work. Yeah, to go and get this done.
No, it wouldn't take Roy long to get there. Okay, so let me put this up on the screen here. So that's
round 2 starting right now. Badou Jack doing the same thing, backing his man up, working behind his jab. The man is throwing looping overhand rights, which I just said would work because his left hand is low, so he must recognize that. Another looping overhand right Jesus. Now that's not too far off, man.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not entirely inaccurate, Tony. You called it pretty good right there. I don't want to do Roy any harm there. He'd kill me. Roy would kill me in 5 seconds. I don't. I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not doing ab crazy workouts like you are or some other people are. So I can't talk shit, but. I'm not a professional boxer.
Yeah, you're not going there versus Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I'm not going in the ring with Mike Tyson.
Again, we see Badou Jack working behind the jab. Nothing significant. Good left hook to the body combination, working up and down stairs. This guy does not want to stand. Again, he tries the looping overhand right, which is blocked. You can see that coming a mile away. Why he would throw such an amateur punch from so far away is beyond me.
His defense is kind of amateur, too. He keeps backing up and covering up. He's not really offering much other than...
He landed that looping overhand right that time. So it's all about... I think he's having a hard time right now judging the range. Like, he just seems to be a little bit out of range with the overhand right. He just can't get past. Badou Jack is doing a good job maintaining his range and still pressing the action, which usually people don't do. Usually a lot of boxers, they'll go in there and they'll press the action, but they'll smother themselves when doing so. Badou Jack is not doing that. He's staying out there. That was a good right hand while the man was on the ropes, and he's working the body. But again, that right hand is low, and he's got caught with a left hook over top. Badou Jack better watch it.
Ooh.
You better watch it, because I could see him getting hit with
He's waiting. It almost seems like he's the other guy. What's the other guy's name? McKernan. He almost seems like he's just waiting for an opportunity. He's biding his time. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's looking for an opening. And
he's taking a lot of damage while he's doing that, so he better watch himself while he's doing
that. Jake Cruz says, I drove by Tyson's house today, was hoping to see him, but nothing. Oh, he should. Big Will is in the live motherfucking chat.
Will from Nashville. What up?
He gave me a super chat donation. Will and Tony, hands down the best duo in late night live streaming. Nothing but mad love and respect for you two awesome cats. Will, you're the fucking man. I got to go over and spin the wheel for you, but lots of love to Will. We were talking you up last night, and can't send enough positive energy and good stuff for Will. Thank you, buddy. It means a lot. What round is it in this fight? It is
round just ended right now, and I have to give that round again to Badou Jack for. Well, when you score boxing matches, there's two ways to score this match. You know, you got to have aggressiveness, but aggressiveness must be clean and it must be effective aggressiveness, right? That's what you look for. That's the number one thing you want to score rounds on. Defense is second. So you can press the action, but and ring generalship, right? That Phil has spun the wheel off the chair. Oh God! But that's what you want to look at. Which showing a picture of this is Roy Jones coming into right now. They're showing him with the mask, dressed in a black jumpsuit. Roy's hands in his pocket right now. And then I was showing a picture of Mike Tyson coming in with his kufi on his head, black kufi on. He has blue gloves on his hands and a black hoodie. They're just walking in there. So, they both look determined. Mike looked like has more pep in his step just from that walk. I don't think we can learn a bunch from there. Yeah. But
Mike probably hasn't been smoking weed for a couple days, so he's ready to get this fight over with and smoke a big blunt.
That's the case, and it's a problem right now. Yeah, I just started with McKernan and Jack. McKernan landed a sneaky right hand. He's still dancing back. He's on his bicycle. He's trying to be on his bicycle and then leap in with a punch. It seems to be a strategy, and trying to catch Badou Jack on the leap in. But my father used to always say to me when I used to box, Tony, you leap, you sleep. Because if you get caught while you leap, you're going to run into something, and it makes the punch doubly effective.
Exactly, because you have the energy of you, the force of you going in. It's like the irresistible force meets the immovable object. Nevermore says, who are you two going for, Tyson or Fast Jones? I mean, I think in this fight, I think Tyson's going to control the action, and Tyson's going to end up knocking Roy down a couple times. If Roy gets back up, we'll see if he makes it all the way through, but I think Roy's going down tonight at one point in time in this fight. If both of them were at their prime, like prime Roy versus prime Tyson, I think Roy could avoid Tyson enough to make it interesting, but I think Tyson would eventually catch him. I don't know how.
Yeah, it's a problem because Prime Roy is a 168 5-pound fighter, and Prime Tyson is a 200-pound fighter. So it's really hard to judge what they would do in that prime. We're talking about the Roy Jones who, after he beat John Ruiz, I remember when he fought John Ruiz, he came into that fight, I do believe, at 190, 195 pounds. He was still much lighter than the normal heavyweight. And I think that's what he should have did here on this fight. He shouldn't have gained so much weight. He should have went for more speed and used his speed to effectiveness, more to be more effective instead of trying to be the same size as Mike Tyson. Because you put weight on doesn't mean you put it on in the right spot. And people are naturally bigger than you. You know, you could see, like when you look at George Foreman, if you ever ever has a chance to meet George Foreman, and you say, oh, George Foreman, he's a 245-pound man. But if you look at the man's fingers, his fingers look like bananas. You know what I mean? He's just a huge individual. He's just a big boned man. So you can gain all the weight you want, but your fingers are never going to be the size of George Foreman's fingers. He's just a big dude like that. So it's really got more to do with weight gain. Roy should have played the speed game in this. More than everything else. And here we go. Badou Jack allowing this man to push him up against the ropes for a little bit. Said he always gets into a tougher fight than normally is, but he's still backing the guy up. Left hand, right cross right there. Another jab, right cross right there over the top by Badou Jack. This man's got his guard up. He's using the turtle shell techniques, the old winky right guard he's putting on there and stuff.
For those of you that are wondering, we do in fact have betting lines that are at the bottom of the screen. In Nate Robinson is plus 333 to I think Nate Robinson is the favorite in the.
Hey, I think he's the favorite because he's black. I'm gonna tell you straight up. The fact that Nate Robinson is a black man, people believe he's going to win the fight because he's black. I think that's the reason. I mean, there's other factors, yes, but I think that's a huge factor that people believe that this black man is going to beat him because he's black. I mean, you know, in a great white height. I mean, they say, you know, that's what the whole movie, the premise of the movie is about. You know, like no matter how good this white dude was, he wasn't going to beat this black man, even if he was big, fat, and out of shape. That's just what it was.
Yeah, and it was based around also like with the Ali, was it Cooney or Cooley?
That was Larry Holmes versus Cooney.
Oh yeah, fight that was like the biggest hyped fight because of that reason. I think a lot of that movie was based around.
Oh yeah, well, the concept of that fight. Sells. Anyone who's ever been to a live boxing match will see it's segregated in there. Like if the Mexican guy is fighting, all the Mexicans are together. If it's Puerto Rican versus Mexican, the Puerto Ricans over here, the Mexicans over here. If it's black versus Mexicans, the Mexicans over here, the black guys over here. That's why you always see brawls break out in the crowd all the time. Riddick Bowe fight, big brawl broke out when he got into the squad when he fought Andrew Galata the first time. Galata hit him with low blow and everything else. There's always fights that break out in the crowd because it's a very segregated sport. When you go there live, you see it. It's amazing, especially if these damn British people come. Let me tell you, these British people, they come over from Britain to fight. That's what the crowd is there to do. They come there just to get into a brawl with the other guy, whoever's there. That's what the Britons do, and that's the bottom line. I've been to many fights with British people, lost their mind, and got into big brawls in the stands.
So now let's play, sorry, Jay, that I waited on this. Let's play Jay's voicemail from a little bit earlier. Let's hear what Jay has to say.
Hey, Tony, Tyson Fury would beat Mike Tyson right now in a boxing match because he's pretty much the best boxer pound for pound out right now. Also, Anthony Joshua would probably also beat him. The only top contender Tyson could beat is Deontay Wilder, which is the one person you didn't say. And yeah, and y'all gonna talk about the Jake Paul,
we'll definitely
Nate Robinson fight. All right, later.
We'll definitely talk about that once it starts. But to the other points, Tony,
let me answer.
Take over. I'll be right back.
All right. First off, Tyson Fury is not a pound for pound fighter. All right, he's a best heavyweight out, but you can't consider him a pound for pound fighter. You can't consider him better than Lomachenko. You can't consider him a better fighter than Terrence Crawford. You can't consider him a better fighter than Earl Spence. And you can go through the list. So we got to look at what pound for pound truly means. That means if that fighter was the natural weight of any other fighter, would he be better than that fighter? So I can't see you saying that Tyson Fury is a pound for pound fighter. He's a good fighter. He's the best heavyweight there is, but he's not a strict pound for pound fighter right now. I couldn't give him that. If you want to give him that, that's up to you, but I couldn't give him that. So could Mike Tyson beat Tyson Fury? I would say that it's a good share. If I had to put money on it, I would put money on Tyson Fury. But Mike Tyson does have a puncher's chance. If you're a Tyson Fury fan, then you also watch his fights. And if you watch his fight, you see that when he fought Steve Cunningham, and Steve Cunningham was a 170-pound fighter, he hit Tyson Fury one time and knocked Tyson Fury right on his ass. Not wearing him down, one shot right on Tyson Fury's chin, and Tyson Fury went down. Now, Tyson Fury did get up, and he wound up knocking Steve Cunningham out. But the fact that a feather-fisted Steve Cunningham could actually do that to him, you have to say that if Tyson lands one of those shots, he has a puncher's chance to beat any one of these guys. These are not great heavyweights like the old era, like Larry Holmes or Ken Norton or Foreman. It's kind of a weaker time right now in the heavyweight division. As for Deontay Wilder, let me just say this before I get to that comment. I am the author of Deontay Wilder's children's book. So full disclosure, I don't want anyone to think, oh,
yeah, you might be a little biased, and yeah, I do want to make one point to your last point before you go on. That I mean, that's how Foreman beat Moore. Wasn't that like he beat him just with one punch?
Exactly right. If you looked at it on paper, Michael Moore was killing Foreman the whole fight, and Foreman landed that 1-2, and knocked Moore out. Mike Tyson has the same exact chance to do that to anyone, including Deontay Wilder. He could do it to anybody because he has that power. And when you're boxing, the last thing to go is power. Speed and reflexes go. Larry Holmes told me personally when I met him, he said, what happens when you get older is, and the analogy he gave me was, he says, you could see the door, but you just can't walk through it. And that's what happens when you get older. So I would have to say that he does have a chance. Tyson has a puncher's chance to beat anybody in the boxing, in the heavyweight division, if he comes in with his mind right. Puncher's chance. Doesn't mean he would. But if he hits one of these guys, he can get them out.
It's so insane to me that we're sitting here in 2020 talking about a 55-year-old Mike Tyson, about what he could do in the division for real. And I think when it really comes down to it, I want to be on, but I want to ride that train. I watched that video. I know, because I agree with you 100%. Power is the last thing to go, and you know the division better than I do, and in Michael Moore, in the division that Foreman did that in, was a better division in some ways than it is now, and Foreman sort of controlled things and was a part of it, and so I think we're going to know a lot more of where Tyson really is after tonight. If he goes, because I love Roy. Roy is taking this as an exhibition. Tyson's taking this as an audition to be back as a boxer. Like Tyson is in love again. You can see it in his eyes. He's fallen in love with boxing again, and he wants this bad because he feels like he never quite got back to the point where he was once again.
Oh, what a big body shot by Jack. He almost got him out of here with that left hook to the body. This dude almost just
54,
curled over in pain and went down from that left hook to the body. He needs to go back. It's obvious he needs to go back to the body with a shot like that. He almost knocked him out right then with a body shot. He needs to go right back to the body, still staying up head. Oh, he puts the jab right to the body. He needs to get in there and hit this guy in the body. That was a beautiful left uppercut right to the body. Almost got him out of there with that shot. Seems like that could be how Badou Jack wins this fight, is that body shot. This guy's body is weak. He almost folded over.
Now, Jay's response to you on that, he would do it to Wilder, but Fury is too smart to let it happen, says Jay in the live chat.
I don't know if Fury is too smart. See, this is the whole thing. It's not about being smart. It's about the people that are in front of you. He got caught by Steve Cunningham and got knocked on his ass. So when you're in the ring and Mike Tyson has said it before, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So you can go in there thinking, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. But if you got caught by this guy, you don't know how you're going to react when it comes down to it. And I don't think there's no way Tyson Fury would ever take that fight, because in all honesty, it's a no-win situation for him.
Yeah.
If he beats Mike Tyson, they're gonna say you beat an old man. If you lose to Mike Tyson, you look terrible. So it's really no win for him.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to quote. I don't want to say everything in life's like a movie, but it's almost like Rocky Balboa. When I forget the character's name, but it was that Carver. It was the boxer.
Antonio Tarver.
Antonio Tarver. That's what it was. Thank you. But like in the movie itself, it was all about like Rocky in that fight. In a sense, was in a no-lose situation. All he needed to do was go in there and put up a fight. If Mike Tyson, went in there in any of these main heavyweights and didn't win, but just fought 10 rounds and gotten some good punches, that would be enough. That would be enough. That's all people would give a shit. They just want to see Mike Tyson on the biggest stages boxing again because of how much. Because again, what Tony was saying last night and earlier, Tyson brings this extra edge to it that other people haven't done since him, and no one did before him since Ali. And then you could say maybe Joe Louis before that, but even Joe Louis was a different kind of thing. Like he wasn't as charismatic in that sense in the way in the ring. It was just a different era of boxing. Maybe Marciano to a certain extent too. Like certain boxers almost had it, but you'd say, it would be Ali and Tyson from like a commercialized crossing over to
Marciano definitely was there. But then Ali, and that's why Larry Holmes to me is the greatest heavyweight of all time. I think if you put him in there versus any heavyweight time after time, he'll beat him. Floyd Mayweather also agrees with me. That's who he says he picks the greatest heavyweight of all time. But the thing about Larry Holmes is that he followed Muhammad Ali, and when you follow an act like that, it's hard to have your own personality. It's hard for people to follow you. And that's what happened with Lennox.
It's funny you said. I was just going to say that Lennox ultimately was the next great heavyweight after Tyson, because I guess Holyfield, but I'm not a big Holyfield fan. So I don't give him the credit he deserves, where I think he's, I don't know. I kind of wish he stayed in the middleweight division too in some ways, but Holyfield deserves his credit. I'm not going to discredit Holyfield, but he beat a very out of shape Buster Douglas to win that championship, and I would have liked to see what he would.
That Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson. It's not his fault. He beat the guys in front of him, and he lost to the guys in front of him. You look at the people he lost. He couldn't beat John Ruiz. John Ruiz beat the hell. That's how styles make fight. John Ruiz beat the hell out of Holyfield. Every time he fought him, he had a big problem with him. But when you put him in there with Lennox Lewis, he was able to do a lot of damage versus Lennox Lewis. I mean, people say that he lost the first fight. I would say he lost the first fight. And then, to me, he won the second fight, but they gave it to Lewis because I think that Lewis got robbed the first fight. But if the second fight, if you really look at it, he won. I mean, the Riddick Bowe fights with Evander Holyfield, some of the greatest heavyweight fights in the history of the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and it was great to actually see Riddick Bowe fight at the best of his potential in those fights, because
Riddick Bowe was amazing.
Disgusting good. Yeah, when he was on.
He was on.
Disgusting good, and he was
His peak was so small.
Yeah.
He was so good for so fast, and he fizzled right out after the Galata fight.
Yeah, and it's funny because in that generation, when those three, it was Lennox, him, and I forget what the third one's, was it Ruiz? But no, it was one other guy that was like big in the division at the time, and they were like, these are the next three great heavyweights. And each one of them had their moment, and I think at his best, Bowe was the best, but Lennox had the most longevity, so you got to give it to Lennox from that generation.
And I think that comes down to his trainer. He got Emmanuel Stewart in his corner, and Emmanuel Stewart taught him how to use his size, how to fight beyond the jab, because Lennox is another guy that if you tagged his chin, he went down. Like when Hasim Rahman knocked him out. It wasn't like Hasim Rahman beat him up the whole fight. He hit him one time, knocked him out.
One shot, yeah.
Oliver McCall knocked him out. He hit him one time and knocked him out. If you caught Leonard, but Emmanuel Stewart taught him, hey, stand behind your jab, stay back, don't worry about it. Use your reach, use your body. And Lennox Lewis was the master of holding down somebody's head with his left hand and uppercutting him with the right hand.
Yeah.
That was like a patented. That's like Hulk Hogan's leg drop. And he did it to everybody.
And until he reached the point of diminishing returns, he just kept getting better and better because he kept getting smarter and smarter in the ring and using his body even more better and better. Oh, we got a super chat donation from Pale Horse. Excuse me, sorry for that burp. Pale Horse Rider, thank you so much for that super chat. And let's get a couple of let's catch up in the live chat here a little bit. Birdley says, I think everyone keeps saying Mike, so I would love to see Roy surprise everyone tonight. Mike's 54, not 55. people say, okay, 54. You don't expect much, but Tyson will win. Both washed up. I'm just happy to see two legends fighting tonight, and I think that's what a lot of people are excited about too. It's Thanksgiving, the end of Thanksgiving weekend.
Well, it's like a video game, right? When you get a video game, you do these dream matchups on the video game because you figure you can't really see it. But now you get to see it somewhat. This is not what they would be if they were in their prime, but you get to see it somewhat. So it's like a live action video game. Who doesn't want to see it? And Mike Tyson is the master of selling himself.
And
he sells himself better than anybody. And his people should look at him and look how he does it. He sells himself better than anybody in the sport right now.
And you don't see this stuff as much anymore, but I just remember so much as a kid growing up watching sports, going to the baseball, going to Fenway and stuff. You would always have, and I'm sure they did the same thing at Yankee Stadium, like Legends days where they have the legends come out and play and you watch them all play. And that's fun. I mean, and that's what I'm glad about tonight. Like, tonight might be electrifying when we see Tyson in that ring. It might just be fucking awesome to see these two legends in the ring again, having a fun exhibition. Either way, it's going to be something special because this is something I never thought I'd see again. I never thought I'd see Tyson in a ring again, fighting even in an exhibition situation. But yeah, thank you so much for that super chat. Tyson is a lot smarter than he used to be, says Jake. He may box different than he used to. Tony and I were talking about that last night. I think if Tyson really does have wind and right now, and he still can kind of keep it up and keep up the pressure, I think the fact that I think he can use more of what he learned from Cuss and more of what he learned from people because he can think more and slow down a lot. And I think towards the end of his career in that first half.
Good right hand by Badou Jack. He may be on the verge of getting this guy out of here.
Yeah, it does look. He's like leaning on him a bit. Ooh, now that it's getting a little bit more furious. Jay, I will play your other message next. Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion. He might be the oldest one too. That would be a great fucking story. Balboa was a great movie. Good point. Throw in the towel. Damn, Phil, your boxing knowledge was on point. Much love to you all. I just have to step it up with Tony. I have small boxing knowledge from some certain periods of time here and there, but then I have a bit like big gaps. And I'm actually excited that this is the first actual sports stream I've ever done on the channel, and I'm excited to have Tony with me tonight doing this to offer his boxing expertise to us tonight. Don't forget about Riddick Bowe. Bird lady.
We talked about Riddick Bowe.
Oh no, we're rewind. I think we're rewinding.
Of course, no. Riddick Bowe was a great fighter. As I said, Riddick, he should have fought Lennox Lewis. It seemed like he did drop the WBC belt because he did not want to take the Lennox Lewis fight.
That would have been such a good fight. That would have been
fight Lennox Lewis. He lost to Lennox Lewis in the amateurs. I think Lennox Lewis knocked him out in the amateurs. So everyone thought that he was afraid of Lennox Lewis, but I would have loved to see Riddick Bowe getting him.
Maybe it's one of those things where, and again, maybe even subconsciously, because Lennox is bigger than Riddick, right? Like and Riddick's bigger than pretty much everyone else he fights. So it must be awkward being like that big. It's like when you're Big John Studd in wrestling, and I know wrestling's not real. When you're Big John Studd in wrestling, and then suddenly Andre the Giant
Stud.
Yeah.
The Giant Stud.
The Giant Stud. and then Andre the Giant walks in the ring, and you're just like, fuck, I'm fucked. You're great.
Yeah, that was every time they would interview him. Mean Gene Oakland would say, "Big John Stud." I'm the Giant Stud.
I'm the Giant Stud. I was gonna do a really awful deep cut and say, when you're Mark Eaton from the Utah Jazz, and then Manute Bol shows up and he's 7'7", you're 7'3", looks kind of tiny.
There's no doubt about it. This guy looks. He doesn't look
Tubbs
like
in the live chat.
I don't know if he's going to continue sitting on the stool. I don't know if this guy's about to. He may quit on the stool right now. Let's see. It looks like he might be getting back out, but
Stephen Hart wants to mention another boxer that was really great in that division at the time. I don't think he was a great boxer, but I think he was an amazing puncher and very fun to watch. It's a forgotten about heavyweight in the division at that time, Razor Ruddock.
All right, so Donovan Razor Ruddock was a good heavy puncher. His claim to fame, though, if you look at that, was the fact that he went 12 rounds with Mike Tyson. Yeah. I mean, he was one of the early guys to go 12 rounds with Mike Tyson, and that was his claim to fame. He fought Tyson twice. He lost both fights. And then when you look at when he fought Tommy Morrison knocked him right out.
Gunn.
Speaking Tommy of Rocket, Morrison destroyed him and knocked him right out.
Tommy Gunn. Sorry, I won't call Tommy Morrison. Tommy Gunn had a glass jaw too. Like from when it really comes down to it, he could punch. He had good form in his punching ability. He was you could tell how influenced he was with Tyson's like bob and weave style of
Mhm.
boxing. But unlike Tyson, Tommy Morrison could not take a punch. And when Tommy Morrison got hit the wrong way, it's crash
When
in both.
his career ended when he fought. This is what happened. He
Yeah, I saw
fought
that.
Ray Mercer.
Yeah, that
And they made that.
he was
That's
the
when
other one.
WBO just first started. That was the first heavyweight champion. WBO belt didn't exist before that. They made that corporation to give Tommy Morrison the belt.
Yep.
They wanted him to have the heavyweight championship
Because he was in Rocky. Because he was in Rocky.
The WBO thinking he's going to go in there. He's going to knock Ray Mercer out. And Ray Mercer kicked his ass. One of the worst. If you ever have a chance to look at it, heavyweight knock, it's one of the worst devastating knockouts. Because what happened is Tommy Morrison's arm gets caught on the rope, so he can't fall down.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And Ray Mercer, and his name is Merciless for a reason, just kept hitting him.
It's worse than
brutal,
it's worse than the Spinks Tyson fight, which is pretty bad.
Much worse, because it was because he was stuck on the ropes. He was just hanging there, and Mercer just kept hitting him. It just kicked his
Yo,
ass.
Tommy, I didn't hear no bell, Tommy. I didn't hear no bell.
I think Ray Mercer's the last heavyweight American to win the gold medal.
And I think Ray Mercer was the one that is the third heavyweight in that group that I was trying to think of. I think it was Mercer, Lennox Lewis, and Riddick Bowe that were the three great. I consider
he had a really great fight with Lennox Lewis too.
Yeah,
Ray
he
Mercer.
did. That was a good
fight. Lennox Lewis that fight
beat the hell out of him.
He didn't get the decision, but if you look at Lennox Lewis's big right hand.
Now, Tony, you mentioned that. That's one of my favorite things in sports when the media or the sports machine hypes somebody up and then they end up losing like that. There was a track and field athlete, I forget his name, but it was him and his buddy. They did a series of commercials leading into the Olympics about how they were gonna take over the 1992 Olympics. I forget the two guys' name. One of them made it, one of them didn't. And then when it got to the qualifying race, he didn't make it.
It was like Dan and Dave or something like that.
Yes.
Dan and Dave or something like that.
Yes, and Dan didn't make it or something. And
he didn't make the qualifier. He didn't even qualify.
I just love it. It was hilarious. I love that kind of shit. And Tommy Morrison was a big example of that. They wanted to package him post Rocky because of he was in Rocky. He's the next Great White Hype. He's gonna be the guy. And because
he had the skills.
He did. He could punch.
He could punch. He was just in a bad time.
Yeah.
If Tommy Morrison fought in this era, I think he'd be heavyweight champion of the world.
Wait, Steve.
He fought in a tremendously competitive era, just like Jerry Corey. Jerry Corey's a great fighter, white guy fighter, heavyweight fighter, but he fought with Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, George Foreman.
Yeah.
He was and he gave them all good fights.
He's a tough guy.
He was a bad era.
He was a tough bastard. He could take a fucking punch. Ali said he was one of the toughest guys to maneuver around in the ring. And someone said, "Did you guys just say Dan and Dave?" Yes, we said Dan and Dave. Different Dan and Dave.
Right, this guy looks like I don't know if that was the last round.
Yeah, that was the last round. That was round 8.
That was the last round. It went 12. It went to full. Listen, Badou Jack wins this easily. I didn't see the other guy. I think he pitched a shutout this fight. I really can't give the other guy one round.
No,
I can't see it being scored any other way but Badou Jack winning this fight. We look at the total punches landed right here. We got 203 to 92. Badou Jack landed 203. The other guy landed 92.
54% to 28
punches.
Yeah.
The other guy landed threw 471. Jabs. Badou Jack threw 401. He landed 52. The other guy threw 187 and landed 13. When we look at the fight, as I said, a guy landed a 7% clip. He didn't land anything.
Yeah, Tony. To me, what he was doing was like when someone plays a game of chess to play a stalemate. He wasn't fight. He knew he couldn't win this fight, so he played to. He's like 8 rounds. I can make 8 rounds, and he stall fought for the most part.
Badou Jack landed 151 power punches to Blake 79 power punches.
Blake, dark in the chat says Blake is gonna piss some blood tonight.
Yeah, he got beat up pretty bad. He took a beating in this fight.
And censor know that I believe.
Oh, look at that! Look at it. The eyes left. Look at that eye jammy on his eye. You see it?
Oh, he definitely took it. Yeah, he took it.
Looks like you see the swelling on the guy's left over his left eye. Look at this guy's eye. It looks like an alien growing out of his head.
And yes, the Nate Logan, the Nate Paul brother fight is next, I believe, and then the Tyson
unanimous
fight's
decision by Badou Jack. Look at this guy. I hope they show it again. His head. it looked like an alien is growing out of his head. It looked terrible. His whole eye was swelled. The top of his head is got a huge hematoma on the top of his head.
So I like it. I'm a little bit ahead of you. So now we're into another musical act, which I dig the idea that you're paying for or watching or pirating a whole entertainment thing for the evening. I think this is something that comes through more when you go to see a live show, when you have stand-up comedians in between bands, when you go see live bands or live hip hop acts or whatever. Like I like that. I like when you have. I think that's a forgotten about. Somewhere in the middle of our entertainment thing, we forgot about middle entertainment here, and I dig that they're doing this. I have to applaud Triller so far. Just not even about the boxing content, but just as the production of tonight. Like, this doesn't look amateurish. They got they got music acts coming out in between each thing. Not a lot of wait time. They obviously rehearsed these like into it. It's like right after the fight. This came on right away. The stage setup looks cool. Like, I gotta give them credit.
What I could say about this, especially when you deal with big fights. Like if you ever go to big fights and they don't promote things like this, and I'll tell you exactly what happens with big fights. A lot of times when you go to the big fight, no one shows up until the main event, especially if they're in Vegas. Everyone stays in the casino, everyone gambles, and then when the big fight's about to happen, then it gets filled up. It's due to that there's nothing to watch in between.
Yeah.
That there's nothing there. So this helps bridge that gap and will probably get people to watch the earlier fights. If they knew, like, hey, their favorite rapper is going to be performing between the second fight, maybe they'll go watch the earlier fights and learn who these new up-and-coming boxers are, and then get let those guys get fans. So I think that's a good way to bridge the gap into doing that, instead of getting people just showing up for the big fight and then that's it, and sitting in the casino the whole time.
I agree, Tony. And I think it's the same with performers with musical acts. If you have like stand-up comedians perform in big showcase shows, like one of the best things about going to see the Up in Smoke tour was in between each act they had different stand-up comics come out and host the evening, and it just kept the night going. So if one person was there just to see one act, it kept them there early to come see the stand-up comedians in between. But we do have another voicemail from Jay, so let's listen to it. And if anyone else has voicemails or comments or anything to get in,
please do
781-990-8509. And Ian's in the live chat. We got Bernie, we got Pale Horse. Thank you again for that super chat, Pale, and thank you to Big Will as well. Jake Tubbs, thanks to you to all of you guys for joining Tony and I tonight on this different sort of thing than either of us usually do. Or Tony covers sports a little bit more often than I do, but I'm excited to do a little something different tonight. So I'm excited that you guys are joining us. I never miss an act. Oh, and someone else asked earlier before I played Jay's message if Tony, have you ever boxed? And I know the answer to that, but
yes, I boxed for 7 years of my life, 7 straight years. I was a very good boxer. I never won Golden Gloves. I did compete in Golden Gloves in New York City. The highest I ever finished was 3rd. My cousin won Golden Gloves twice, Jamal Hardy. I boxed for a very long time in my life, 7 years of my life, and 7 years is a very long time. And I beat people when I was boxing that almost won the world championship. He didn't win the world championship, but he almost did win it. And I knocked that guy out twice when I was boxing. So who knows what it could have actually ever happened if I would have actually stuck with it. Who knows? But
now,
I boxed with
Steven says, I never missed an act at Fresh Fest. Did you, Tony?
At Fresh Fest?
Yeah, Fresh Fest. I'm not sure what Fresh Fest is.
What is this? If you're talking about Brooklyn, Queens, like Queens Day or something like that, no. I used to go to that all the time, and that was in Flushing Meadow Park. Maybe that's what he's referring to. And I don't know exactly where Fresh
lots of smoke machines.
is.
And Ian says, yeah, D&D were track stars before they worked on Game of Thrones. Yep, Dan and Dave worked on track stars before the Game of Thrones. And here is Jay's voicemail. Let's play this.
By the way, you do realize the rules of this fight is like first cut, the fight is stopped.
Yep.
There is no winner and no loser declared. Both people will get a belt at the end.
It's a participation trophy, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Unless like one of them knocks out the other, I believe there is going to be no winner or loser to this fight.
But okay.
So determining like anything about them, I'm not sure how much is going to be able to determine how good they are.
That's the thing, and Tony will go after this because I just quickly want to say that I think if Mike is smart, he doesn't give a shit about any of that. He wants this stopped after 5 freaking minutes. He wants them to say, "Oh my God!" He wants to cut Roy with one punch. Because again, I was saying this to Tony the other night. What I want is what the biggest story is, and the story out of here is people want to say what you and Tony were talking about earlier. People want to have that discussion about Mike versus the best heavyweights right now, and the only way that happens is if Mike just kind of is an animal tonight in the sense of like just way out of Roy's league. If this just looks like two 50-pluses boxing, which is still going to be cool and fun to watch, it's not going to have as much. That conversation is going to die down a lot. So I think Mike does, from that standpoint, to get people talking, he wants to knock him down and then have the ref go, "Okay, done." I think that's would be the best story. I don't know. What do you think, Tony?
1 second. Yeah, I think that's what people want. The only way Mike Tyson is successful in this fight, he ain't care. He don't want to win by decision. That's not important. It's not important for him to do anything else to win by decision. It's not important for him to win by the scorecards. What is important is that you think that he has a chance to beat these guys, that the animal, savage, ear-biting, maniac Tyson is back, and he could legitimately beat one of these guys. That's all he cares about.
That's what people want.
Why the only thing that matters to him is if he knocks him out. If he hits Roy and busts his face and a huge cut cuts over his eye, that's the story. If Mike Tyson goes in there and knocks him out, that's the story. No one would care. If Roy Jones wouldn't knock out Mike Tyson, it would be a story for a day and it would be over. But if Mike Tyson knocks out Roy Jones, that's a story for at least 6-7 months. They're going to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's all that this is a building. Tyson took this fight for a reason. It's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And that's what he's just trying to do. This to build up.
And whoever his PR team around right now treated this in an extremely smart way. Putting out that hype video, leading this up, having all that discussion about who is this fight back is going to be with, the talks of Holyfield for a while, probing this, and then picking, I think, the absolute right person for this, because Roy, again, I don't think, and I definitely know Tony isn't, but I don't think anyone's sleeping on the fact that Roy is one of the best salesmen in boxing history, besides the fact of him just as a fighter, but in the sense of he knows how to sell a fight, and he built this up the right way. My problem with how he's approaching this is I do think it seems like he consciously did put on a little bit extra weight. And I don't know if he did that to be able to withstand a couple of Tyson's punches and thinks that he's just going to kind of dance his way through this whole thing. But I just think what you were just saying and what we're talking, I think Mike has a different agenda. And again, this could be a lot of cake on our faces, and an hour from now after this Jake Paul fight, or the Aaron Paul fight, or some bitch. Some Paul's fighting in a minute. It could just seem like two slow, past the prime boxers just going through the motions and stuff. Tyson could be winded after 2 minutes of the first round, and then it's just going to be the nostalgia of seeing them in the ring. But I don't know. I have a feeling Mike's going to go in there to prove a point.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This is Mike Tyson, the iconic Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in history, arrested for rape, gets out after that, converts, becomes a Muslim, gets out after that, and then comes back to win the heavyweight championship. He never was the same after that, you know what I mean? So, but, the baddest man on the planet, that tagline was made because of Mike Tyson. Anyone whose child is named Tyson is because of Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury is named after Mike Tyson because his dad was a Mike Tyson fan. It's just like at a certain age when you see people's name is Jordan, they're named after Michael Jordan. That's the type of status that Mike Tyson holds, that people name their children after this man. That's what he means. And just imagine that. Oh. Who else does? I don't know people who name their kid Michael after Michael Jackson. Maybe some people did. What I mean? The montage they're showing right now, and it proves the point, is Mike Tyson sparring when he was young, and they're doing this, and then they're contrasting it with him as an older dude. So that's what they're trying to sell you, that he's the same guy when he was young that he is right now.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be that. There's no way he could be that. And sparring and being in a ring in a real fight is two different things. It's easy to hit those heavy backs. It's easy to hit those mitts. But actually hit somebody that same way is very hard to do.
How did I not notice Snoop there before? And I didn't know Mario Lopez, too. We got Mario Lopez.
We got the trail of a tape of Jake Paul, Nate Robinson. 23 is the age versus 36. Jake Paul is 6'1". He coming in with a 76-inch reach at 189 pounds. Nate Robinson, 36, coming in 5 now. Only 7-inch reach and 81 pounds. So Jake Paul has a 6-inch reach advantage.
So if he knows what he's doing, Nate might be in for it. Pale Horse Rider says, me and my family ran into Tyson walking out of a store called Caldor. I know fucking Caldor. We're going to talk about Bradley's too in a second here, and Leechmere. Caldor, that ain't around anymore, in New Britain, Connecticut, down the street from his mansion in Farmington. He was the nicest. He picked up my sister. For some reason I feel like if you caught Mike on the right way, he'd be like one of the nicest celebrities to meet. He'd be very
all about the time you catch him.
Yeah, all about the time you catch him.
At that, not even that day, at that second of the day, because Mike Tyson, I'll tell you, I've been hanging with Mike Tyson and I've seen it firsthand. He flips on a dime, just like that. He's happy one time, and the next time he could be crying his eyes out. And the next time he's mad, then he's happy again.
Oh my God.
And it just goes just like this, his emotions. And that's it.
I don't care about, I don't mind being around people like that, but if it's Mike Tyson like that, where he could kill you at any point in time, that must be scary. It must be very on edge being around Mike Tyson.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You got Nate Robinson to come in, making his pro debut.
Here we go.
Coming in right now. Listen, Nate Robinson, if is he gonna win this fight, or is he gonna get sticky fingered? Is he the next sticky fingers? Is that what's gonna happen?
So is this Paul brother? So is he a professional boxer, or is he?
He's not. He's a professional YouTuber. He's the most popular of the brother. I think he was the first one to come out, and then his brother Logan Paul came and just like blew up after.
So he just has so much ridiculous YouTube money he can spend it on high and good
YouTube fan. I think he's got probably 10 million subscribers, if not more than that.
Give Tony and I just give us $1 million. We'll split them. You could take.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you can take 500. I'll take 500. Shit.
But his end game here, I can see what the kid's end game is. He's young. What he wants, he's trying to build up a fight with him.
What the fuck is he dressed? I'm a little ahead of you, but what the fuck is he dressed like too? I don't like his. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, he wants to build up a fight between him and Conor McGregor. So he feels if he could beat a couple of people out there, he can entice Conor McGregor to get into the ring with him. And if you get Conor McGregor in the ring with you, then you're looking at maybe a $50 million payday, if not
definitely.
more.
Wow.
So that's what he's trying to do here right now. We see him walking in the ring.
Yeah, Snoop is and he's got
like he's got a Deontay Wilder type mask on his face.
Yeah.
Right
I'm not digging it. I'm not digging. I don't think it looks good on him. And it's Snoop at ringside giving doing your live intro. That's pretty cool, having Snoop do your live intros from sitting there. But Snoop being the classic modern day lazy Snoop, where he won't even stand up. I went to go see Snoop recently in concert, and he's like, he doesn't even do whole songs. He'll like do just bits of his songs, and he just like sits there. He's like, I gotta do this shit again. He's not very motivated to entertain the audience at this point.
He's making cakes with Martha Stewart.
Yeah, he's not very motivated. one of his cousins, though, I don't know his name, I forget his name, came out and on a few songs, and he was like, you could tell he was excited to be there, and he had talent and stuff. I wish I remembered his name, but it was Snoop was. I've seen Snoop a bunch. The most recent time he was.
To me, in this fight, it really comes down to how disciplined is Nate Robinson going to be? How can Nate Robinson impose his will onto this man? Can he rattle him enough to make him fight his fight? Will Nate Robinson come out this straight with him, or will he come out there just boxing with him?
Paul seems to have more of a boxing physique, if that makes sense. He's
been training for over a year now. I mean, this is not the first fight he's had. He's been training for at least a couple of years. So he should be the better boxer, but we'll see if Nate is just that much of an athlete that much of a street dude that he can get in there and just go through this cat.
As Tubbs says, but please be quick about it. And honestly, I can't help but have a little bit of always have that vibe on undercards of a Tyson fight. It's always yeah. And that's one of the disadvantages opening bands and undercard fighters have to deal with just inherently. And I guess less so when you don't have an audience there, but you just have to deal with the fact that everyone's just waiting. You have to try a little harder to put on a show, which is why sometimes you get some really exciting undercard matches that you don't even remember the boxers' names, but they're just going all out because they know no one really cares. So here we go.
Paul's in good shape. I would say he's still. What Nate Robinson would have to do, I think the style he should put on is a Mike Tyson-esque style. He should bob
wait till you see
underneath the jab, get underneath him, and use his shoulder to push him back and beat this kid's body. I wouldn't even have him go for the headshot. If I was his trainer, I'd be like, hit this kid in the body for the first 2 rounds.
I love that I'm a little faster than you. Wait till you see how Nate starts. Nate runs for the tackle. It looks like he thought he was playing football for a second. Nate just keeps charging him.
Yeah, he is charging him right now.
He's charging him. Nate doesn't know what he's doing. This is so far, especially compared to the first 2 fights. This looks a little.
I didn't even know Nate Robinson is a southpaw, right? So he's coming out with a southpaw stance. It's hard for people if you never fought a southpaw. A southpaw is someone who has his powers comes from his left hand. It's hard for people to adapt to that. So will he be able to adapt to the power coming from the left hand with Nate?
So far, it's a wrestling match more than it's a boxing match.
That's basically what we're seeing. We're seeing as soon as Nate gets in close, we're seeing Paul grab him and tie him up. He does not want Nate to work inside. So that's what it seems like it's going on right now. Nate here with the New York Knicks colors on his shorts right now.
Definitely representing the Knicks and
representing New York.
In Oakley, it's the next fight. We're in the Nate Aaron Paul. I'm gonna keep calling him Aaron Paul. Jake Paul fight, and it's round 1, and it looks like we're in for a long 8 rounds of some wrestling here.
Yeah, they don't look like it's a 6th round. Is it 6th round?
Oh, it's 6. Yeah, it's only 6. Thank goodness.
Don't look like they truly want to work. They want to fight. It looks like there's more of a holding match and not trying to fight. And as I said before, with Badou Jack, he was able to be aggressive with his aggressiveness, effective with his aggressiveness by staying at a good range, allowing himself and not smothering himself. We see here. It's a straight smother.
Oh, shit. You're about to see something. So to give you a little head start. Down goes Robinson.
No, really?
Yeah. It's kind of more like a slip and then a punch to the back of the head. I think it might be over.
I am behind because I didn't even get to that part yet.
You're a bit behind. I don't mind though, but I'm just in this situation. It's
oh my God.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Just you're catching up here.
Oh my God. Nate is down with a punch from the back of the head. The head in the back of the head. He's holding the back of his head. He's down. I think this fight. It could be. He's mad. He's complaining about a rabbit punch. It definitely was a shot in the back of the head.
Yeah, he
but
did.
Still, you shouldn't get hit one time and go right down like that. I mean,
yeah, Nate doesn't want to get hit.
He's wincing. This may be it. I see. This may be it for Nate. Right. Oh, and now he's down again just from lunging forward too much. This could be it for Nate.
Yeah, Nate does not want to get hit. You can just tell. He does not want. He doesn't even want to. I think he's the problem in this fight right now. I think Nate, every time it gets into a point where they might start trading fists, he's tying up, and when he gets a couple punches, he's overreacting physically to it. And I'm in the middle of the round. Nate did survive the round. But
yeah, he's definitely if that was counted as a knockdown, then you have to count that. Give that a 10-9 round.
Yeah, 10-9 round. Yeah.
A 10-8 round. I'm sorry, 10-8 round.
Oh no, I guess that's a decent. I mean, that was one of the most unorthodox punches I've ever seen in a boxing match. But
people get hit in the back of the head. Rabbit punches happen all the time. It doesn't affect people the way he acted like it affected him. He stood down there for a very long time. The thing is exactly what I said. He's not a boxer. He's never boxed before. He's coming into this fight and he's not being disciplined. He's fighting like he's in a street fight, like he's in the bar. You're not going to beat a guy in the bar like that. Definitely rabbit punch without a shadow of a doubt. It definitely hit him in the back of the head. but he was lunging in like a wild man, and you got clipped in the back of your head, and that's what happens. He looked like he was almost out unconscious with that shot. Nate's in trouble.
Yeah,
Nate's
no,
definitely in
no.
trouble.
And we're Nate does not look like he wants to be in there. Nate's
Nate has to make this a brawl. He has to make this a dirty, dirty fight. Hit him low a couple of times. He's got to do something to get the momentum back on his side.
I just hope we don't need to we don't have to watch 6 rounds of just him tying up every time Paul tries to throw a punch, which seems to be the case right now. He's doing the Holyfield Tyson fight style right now, where anytime the guy tries to punch, you just hug him.
Yeah, as soon as he gets in there, he's. But Paul looks like
shit, Tony.
Paul looks exhausted. Myself, when I'm looking at his mouth is wide open. He looks exhausted too. Phil has seen. Said, "Wait, Phil, don't say it. Wait till I see it too. Don't say anything. We'll see what's going on here."
Oh my God!
You see Nate Robinson throwing a jab. Another clinch is going back right now. The referee's breaking them apart. They're set up in the stance again. A feint by Paul, jab by her right hand, and Nate is down.
Nate's down. Oh,
Nate is down.
Oh my
With
God.
one overhand right, Nate is down.
Oh my God, Tony, keep watching.
The ref is trying to count him, hit him.
Nate is
count
out.
him up. Nate Robinson is up. He beats the count. He got hit one time solid in the face. You could tell that right from the beginning when he got hit, he wasn't about it. He got hit in the face solid. He got knocked down. He's up.
Keep watching.
Paul is all over him. Jab, right hand, another.
Oh my God!
He's unconscious.
Oh, he's down.
He is out.
He's out.
Unconscious. It is over.
Debo. He got Debo'd.
There's no count necessary.
Tony, I'm ahead of you, and he's still out. I'm ahead of you, and he's
count
still out.
Necessary. He is out.
He's out.
100%. He is done. Nate Robinson is done.
I'm sorry, I have to do it. You just got knocked the fuck out.
Oh, knocked the fuck out. He got knocked the fuck out. Unfortunately, he's wearing the color of my team. Why are you wearing them shorts?
Nate Robinson is dead.
Nate. Listen, as I said,
as
I said before this fight started, I told you that people are picking this dude for the wrong reason.
Poor Nate.
And that this guy, Paul, is he's fought before.
He's still not up. He's literally, like, again, I'm fast forwarded in time here. Spoiler alert, Nate's still on the ground.
Oh, Nate's done. He landed like a
Jesus.
My dad would call that's like a tree falling. Like he didn't put his hands out to block him. So when he got hit, he knocked him cold. He was completely unconscious when he got hit and landed straight on his face. Nate Robinson he's worse than sticky fingers. He can't even. They try to put him on the stool, and he can't even sit on the stool. He can't stand up. He can't even push himself up to his knees. Nate Robinson's not so bad.
Oh, poor Nate.
Listen, Paul is smart. This is gonna set him up. It does set him up for a fight.
Yeah,
he could maybe be able to get Conor McGregor in the ring. He may be able to pull this off.
Would he be boxing McGregor, or would he be?
Yes, it would be a boxing match. He won't go in there MMA versus McGregor at all. He knows what will happen to him then. Let's take a look at this replay.
Oh my goodness!
It was a jab, a good jab by Paul. Nate just lunging like a wild man. He got caught high off the temple with a right hand. It was a high, wild right hook, overhand right off the temple. He got hit with an uppercut. Boom! Right, that was right on the chin of Nate, and the fight is over.
Bliss, a sensitive man.
Boom! Again, right there.
Bliss, a sensitive man in the live chat says Nate should have stayed out of the ring. He'll be remembered more for this than his actual NBA career.
That was the first knockdown. The second knockdown was just disgusting. That they showed that Nate had no business. And we got to give Logan Paul, Jake Paul, some respect. Like, give him some respect that, he must have some decent punches. Or so sometimes if you've never taken a punch in the face, you don't know how your body's gonna react. You can be the most cock diesel guy, 350 pounds, huge guy.
Debo.
You get tapped in your chin, you get knocked right out.
No,
you're not used to it, you get knocked right out.
Again, it's the lesson you learn from Fridays. It's not just a funny movie. Debo finally got punched for the first time in his life, and he got knocked the fuck out. It's not just a joke in that sense. That's true. Some people just never get punched because they're so intimidating, or they're so big, or they can punch real well. They'll never actually take a hit. And look,
and you said, Nate was probably like, oh, this YouTube star. Who was this kid? This YouTube star. Who was he? I'm Nate Robinson.
Yeah, what was Nate thinking fighting here in this situation? And look at Jake Paul going like this.
It's a boxing match.
Jake's going like this. He's quieting everybody.
This is a boxing match, not a street fight.
Now Nate is gonna have that intro with Jake Paul knocking him out is probably going to be the intro to every one of Jake's YouTube videos for his billion subscribers.
Nate's done.
Look at Snoop.
Done.
See, I can't believe Snoop is just on the commentary desk. That's fucking awesome. Like Snoop is on.
Nate Robinson is definitely can't go back to the hood anymore. He fucked up. He lose all hood points, and that's what I tell people. Listen, I grew up in Queens, New York. Right.
Tony, take it over. I gotta run to the bathroom.
All right, and I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood in Queens, New York, and that's what I'm trying to tell people. Listen, I've seen white dudes knock the shit out of black people. I've seen black people knock the shit out of white guys. I've seen Hispanic people get knocked the shit out of and knock the shit out of both people. This is what happens. Color has nothing to do with it. A lot of the hype for Nate Robinson, why people thought he would win this fight, is strictly because he was black, as I said, and that's not enough. It's not enough. That's not enough. You know what I mean? And as we've seen, he's an untrained boxer. This dude has been boxing. He was disciplined in the ring. I said before the fight started, if you listen to what I said, I told you. It all depends how Nate comes out there. He's going to come out there. If he came out there calm and everything, this dude was calm. He survived the storm. He hit Nate once in the back of the head, knocked him down. He caught him again on the chin, and it was lights out. And you got to give the kid all respect for that. You know what I mean? When you're a trained boxer, no barroom person is going to beat you. I've been in many situations with guys bigger than me in barroom situations, and they thought they were bigger than me, and I've knocked the shit out of them because I was trained. I've been punched in the face when I box for many times. It doesn't scare me to get punched in the face. A lot of people, when they get hit for the first time, they don't know how to react. When you've been boxing and you're used to sparring and used to getting hit, it doesn't scare you. And that's what it is. And listen, give this guy 100%. Credit. He's now 2-0 with 2 knockouts. I don't think the competition he's fought is actually fierce. I don't think he's fighting anyone who's a major boxer, but the people they put in front of him, he's beaten. And I think he's not doing it to be a world champion. I think he's doing it to be someone who's going to fight Conor McGregor and make $100 million in a fight.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing the right thing, and he's well on his way to getting that done.
Yeah, and he did what he needed to do tonight, which was handle the non-professional rather easily and knock his ass around the ring. And that's what he did. So he couldn't have come out of tonight looking better from a boxing standpoint.
No doubt about it. I give the guy respect, and that's why
he obviously trained. You
look at him.
No, and it's Jordan talked about this in that documentary, in the Last Dance documentary, with an association from baseball to basketball. There's certain ways you need to train for certain sports. You can tell that he's training for boxing. You can see it with his shoulders, the way his arms look. Like he's definitely looks like he's been putting a lot of time into boxing training, and it showed. He handled his business tonight. He did what he needed to do.
That's it. Now he just gets to talk that shit and sell the Conor McGregor fight. Yep. And that's all he's going to do. He's going to talk that shit from now on. I guarantee he's going to keep talking, and he's going to try to sell the Conor McGregor fight. That's what he wants to end. Listen, can he beat McGregor in a boxing match? Maybe. McGregor's not really that good of a boxer. McGregor would kill him in a UFC fight. That's why he's not going to fight him in a UFC fight. But in a boxing match, he may have a shot to win. Doesn't matter if he wins. You make $100 million, you make $100 million.
Speaking of money, how much money do you think Mario Lopez is making for tonight?
Right now, for the commentary, maybe he's probably making close to $1 million.
Yeah, probably to get Mario Lopez. I bet it's a lot.
Roy Jones is making guaranteed $3 million, and then the pay-per-view buys, right? So he's not going to make what Roy's making. It's got to be under that. So, you'd say $1 million, but, could be 200,000 for the night, 250 or something like that. He's just, which is a great payday.
Yeah,
for one
great
night.
playday for it to come out there and smile for 5 seconds.
And do say a couple of things, So I think he's, maybe $250,000, $300,000.
Too much, but here we go, and that wasn't a lot of weight when it comes down to. I'm glad that fight ended rather quickly. Now, what time is it? It's 11:16. They slated the Tyson fight to start at 11, so we're not too late into it. The undercard was all right. I think the first two fights were the best, but the last fight definitely gave us a highlight moment, so to speak. I think you're gonna see that as we said in Jake Paul's videos, in lead-up videos. If he does fight McGregor, you'll see that knockout a lot of times. Nate's gonna see that for a long time. We're gonna see.
He felt that it's one thing getting knocked out, another thing getting knocked unconscious and falling straight on your face.
Yeah, you're gonna see gifs of that.
It was a knockout that you can remember for the rest of your life. It's one of the. It's not just like you went like the boys fought today. Earlier today versus Joyce, and he got knocked down and he put himself on. He took the knee himself because he couldn't see out of his eye. It's not that. He was knocked unconscious and fell straight on his face. So that's definitely a highlight reel. That'll be shown on Sports Center, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't even know. I was just gonna say that. That's gonna be shown on and regardless of how this fight ends, the Tyson Jones fight. That knockout's going to be shown in a lot of places for a long time.
That's what they're looking for Tyson Jones. That's what Mike Tyson's looking for.
They
for that.
People want to see Mike do something like that to Roy. Unfortunately, Roy,
there's no doubt about it.
And
they're showing the Taylor tape for
Here
Mike
we
Tyson,
go.
Roy Jones.
Here we fucking
got Tyson
go.
at 54, 5'10", 7'1" reach and 220.4 pounds. Roy Jones at 51, 5'11", 7'4" reach and 210 pounds. And I'm going to say that Mike Tyson is not 5'10" because I've been next to him and I'm taller than him and I'm 5'10". So I would give Mike Tyson 5'9".
Yeah, that's like forever they called Barkley 6'6", but anyone that says that they've ever been in the same room, Barkley says he's closer to 6'2", 6'3". Some athletes, they just add a few inches to them. I think from what I've heard from people who have been around Mike, and I know you actually have, he's closer to like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, he's not that tall at all. He's not tall at all. So
I mean that definitely from a boxing standpoint, in certain fights worked, especially in the later part of his career when he started to slow down a little bit against fighters like someone like Lennox that could be as fast as he was at the time that they fought and bigger. It was a shame. Oh, and we got a little preview of an interview with Roy coming up here right before the fight, and Roy looks a little scared to me. And we got Jim Gray doing the interviews, one of the most swarmy motherfucking one of these guys. Like,
Gray.
I fucking hate Jim Gray. He's a douchebag.
Ever since the Pete Rose shit, everyone hates.
Like he's one of those guys. Like PJ Carlosmo, how do you feel to be getting choked out? Like, well, how you doing? Like, how you feeling? I used to like the guy. What was the guy that passed away? Craig Sager, I think, was good at that job. Some people have tact at this job. Some people don't, and for some reason, this guy always comes off to me as like a schmarmy prick.
Yeah, well, Jones. Hopefully this is earlier from the night because Jones's hands aren't even wrapped. So if it's from right now, it's going to be a while before this fight starts.
No, this has to be from earlier, right?
I would hope so because his hand's not even wrapped. His hands should be well wrapped right now. It takes a second.
Doesn't Roy look? I don't know. Like, and I know it's an exhibition, but I'm not listening to what they're saying because I have the volume turned down. But Roy, he's looking down. I don't think Roy doesn't have his confident sort of.
Doesn't look into it.
No.
It doesn't look like he's into the fight. It looks like he's here, and I hate to say, for the payday. It looks like he's here to get paid.
Santavia, no one likes Jim Gray. No one. Very true. Very true. I'm not special with my dislike. I guess what you're saying is I'm not special with my dislike of Jim Gray, and I accept that.
Yeah. So Roy Jones, listen. I wish him the best. He's my favorite fighter of all time. I would love for him to win this fight, but I just don't see it.
No, and I think when it comes down to it, Roy is gonna keep fighting after this. Roy is one of those guys that comes off to me like he will fight in exhibitions like this for the rest of his life. Whatever happens here, it's not going to matter because he can fight jobbers all day long and still beat them, or like fight 10 rounds with a jobber and barely get hit because he still can do that. But he's fighting another great that's slowed down the same amount, maybe even less than he has. And here's Mike, here's Mike, who is Mike's an animal. Like, what is it about Mike that when you see him, especially old Mike Tyson, it just makes you smile? Like young Mike Tyson is a phenom and says some fucked up shit, but old Mike is just almost like a lovable grandpa in some ways too. Like he just says these like crazy, like, oh, it's old Mike Tyson. He's just like, hi everybody.
It's the George Foreman effect. When George Foreman first came out, he was the hated. Everyone hated George Foreman. Yeah. No one liked George Foreman. He's the most hated guy in boxing. He came back out in his 40s, smiling, selling burgers. Everyone loved him. He was a cuddly guy, and everybody rooted for him to win. So
no, and Mike worked very hard post the Holyfield shit. Like in the sense, again, I keep saying it, but doing things like his one-man show, his Mike Tyson's Mysteries, the cartoon, his appearances in the Hangover movies. It was ways of making you seeing that other side of Mike Tyson, not just the killer Tyson, the humor that Mike has. And Mike has like great fucking humor, and he's a funny guy.
Tell you one. So I was hanging out with Mike when we were hanging out in Canastota in upstate New York by the Boxing Hall of Fame. And I was with him and stuff, and we go out to this bar. There's a bar out there called Graziano's, and they start doing They do karaoke there. Every Friday night they'll do karaoke.
Oh, please tell me Mike sang
with all the boxers. So here comes Mike Tyson, grabs the karaoke guy, and he goes out there and sings karaoke. And, usually people do it, and they they you just do it.
Yeah, nope. It's a joke. You do it to suck.
Did this shit like it was like he was a performer, like he really did it. And the song he sung was Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer."
Yes. And
he was on his knees on the floor, almost rolling around, living on a prayer. Take my hand, I'll make it, I swear. Oh, like he was all about it, Mike Tyson.
Living life. Like living
all about it. He was going nuts about living on a prayer. Like he loves that song. Like he just loves it. He was just on his knees singing that song, bending all the way back, living on a prayer.
what an amazing situation to be right there to see that. I would have killed to see that.
He's a maniac.
No, he's a funny fucking bastard. And I think what old Mike Tyson is aware of, and as someone said, he came back as Tyson the Wise. He's more aware of the effect he has on people, I think, and in the sense of his personality. Where I think he always had that. I think when he says things like Linux, I'm gonna eat your children, and so like he knows what he's saying. He knows he's trying to build shock and awe to try to get people to talk about the fight and talk about how crazy Tyson is. Like he's doing it as a conscious choice. And I think now he's doing it more again to disarm you with like he wants people's love right now. He wants to feel the love, and you can feel it off of him, And
when you're a big guy like that, and you're willing to make fun of yourself, people love you for that. If you look at anybody who's a big muscular man, you could see when they crossed over is when they made fun of themselves. When The Rock came out is when The Rock started doing comedy. It was a sketch on Saturday Night Live that made people like him because he was making fun of himself. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he did comedies. When you do these comedies and people can do it, that's when people start to love you.
The dude from Police Academy, Bubba Smith.
Hightower.
Bubba's Hightower, yeah, Hightower. Or Jim Brown, when Jim Brown came out of his career and started doing movies and acting and doing like Mars Attack or something like that.
O.J. Simpson.
Airplay
movies, right? I mean,
Naked Gun movies, and then
Naked Gun.
But even before that, like if we're talking O.J., like the thing that made O.J. was those commercials, the ones where he was like running in the airport.
The Hertz commercial.
The Hertz commercial. That's what really made like OJ. Yeah, and the Naked Gun. Everyone mentioned that because it's such a tentpole movie. But really, the thing that made OJ was those commercials, because they were on all the time, and he was just such a charismatic spokesman type person,
Mhm.
you know, and he had that show that never came off the air that was going to be big or whatever. And he was on the show, which is a show I watched that gets forgotten about over time. One of the early HBO or Showtime shows, I forget which one. It was called First and 10. It was a show about a fictitious football team in an AFL kind of league where the fucking Dr. Death, like ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, played this linebacker, Dr. Death. O.J. Simpson was the general manager of the team.
Who made that name and say, we need a linebacker, we need a good name? How about
Dr. Death? It was and his buddy, his co linebacker, you know, his buddy was called Mad Dog. It was Mad Dog and Dr. Death.
They went on a limb. It was really hard to think of those names.
hey Cummings.
A lot of effort.
It was tough. And then every year they had a different quarterback. It was one of those early HBO. I think it was either HBO or Showtime. I forget that. And great to see Jalen in the live chat. Great to see you guys be showing the fight. We can't show the fight actually because literally if we showed more than 2 seconds of the fight, YouTube would shut it the fuck down. But Tony will
wouldn't even be like they shut you down. They would end your channel.
Yeah, they would
shut the whole channel down. They would remove your channel from the screen. Obviously you can't do that.
But Tony will be doing some play-by-play during the Tyson fight to tell you what's going on during it, to let you know what's happening play-by-play.
Yeah, we'll give you the live commentary, so it'll be like you are actually watching the fight. It'll be very descriptive.
So like more like you're listening to the radio broadcast. It was on HBO. Yeah, so it was an early HBO show. There was like 3 or 4 seasons of it. It was one of those early shows. The other early HBO show that was way before all the big ones was a show called Dream On, and Dream On was it was about a guy who would imagine life situation. It was almost like Leisure Suit Larry as a show. It was a lot of boobs because it was like HBO. We can show.
My dad
boobs.
used to play that game on the computer, Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, me too. I used to play that game all the time. Yeah, it was like some of the first. Like my first dirty situations in my life were Leisure Shoot Larry. Where
my dad loved that.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Every one of them. He played.
Yeah. They were me too. Your dad's a smart man. That's how I got a lot of my personality right there. Yeah, that's fucking shit. How can we watch it? There's a lot of if you dance around YouTube, there's literally people that will start channels, let their channel be deleted, and then start another one to show the fight. If you're constantly looking around, you will be able to find it. Some people in the live chat that might be able to point you in the right direction. I'm not looking. So there are ways to do it. Packers and a couple other people that are going. Jarrett, no one's winning yet. The fight hasn't happened, but winning so far for the evening is Jake fucking Paul for knocking Nate Robinson the fuck out. And as
knocked him right out. Knocked him out cold.
And as
not just knocked him out, he knocked him out cold. He was down probably for at least a minute, maybe more.
No, he was out. He was fucking out. And Ian says, press the like button, but otherwise poor Nate Robinson gets KO'd in a millisecond. Poor Nate Robinson. But Cummings, no one is winning yet. Right now, fog machines are winning. That's basically what's winning. Oh, and here comes Big Snoop Dogg out for a. Is that what Snoop's calling himself right now, or is he Snoop Lion?
Oh, my stream is right now. It's like not frozen, but it's like rebuffing. I may have to restart the
refresh.
page.
Yeah. Right now at this point, Snoop is out. Snoop is coming for his verse. Let's see if we can turn up the volume and listen to Snoop.
Yep, I got Snoop. All right. Better turn off that music.
I know we're gonna zip. I'm probably gonna, this probably won't stay live forever, but I know 2 seconds. I was trying to put just enough music to. Boom, boom. So I wonder if Snoop's here because of the Weed Maps connection. Yeah,
I'm sure.
Bridge, it's funny. You and Bridge read at the same time. We're both like, dude, be careful with that copyright shit. Love you, Bridge. Love you, Bridge. Yeah, and Bernie too. Phil, be careful. We're gonna shut down. We've been doing so good. We don't want to get shut down here in the last half an hour. I still hear it. Turn the fucking volume down, asshole. Sorry, I wanted to hear my Snoop Dogg. But yes, I do like they do have musical acts performing between each fight. We talked about this earlier. I actually really like this. I mean, I know a lot of people are excited to get to the fucking fight, but I think this adds to the experience for the people that do purchase this, or even just watching it as a whole evening. Tony and I were talking about that earlier. I like concerts that have stand-up comedians in between. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. N64, shut down over Snoop Dogg. Don't do it. Yeah, don't get shut down over Snoop Dogg, Phil. I think you've heard this song before. I think Snoop's performed this before.
Yeah, we've heard Snoop.
We've heard Snoop do this before.
This wouldn't be anything.
Yeah, I love how Snoop's he doesn't give a fuck. He's just smoking a blunt everywhere. I think specifically, I think everyone's love for Snoop Dogg, partially of like our legalization of marijuana phase. Like, because we just like let Snoop get away with it everywhere. So everyone's like, oh, Snoop can do it. We all got to get on board.
That's it. I mean, if Snoop can do it, we all can do it.
He had the pull that Cheech and Chong didn't, that any of the other stoner people didn't. So there was some crossover appeal that Snoop is. I think someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Cheech or Chong ever appeared on Sesame Street. Like Snoop appeared on Snoop went on Sesame Street. Like, can I think of any other? Because yeah, Snoop is he's been an actor. He's a hip hop legend, but he's very much in the same way that Cypress Hill, Cheech and Chong is very much about. Bob Marley has a very strong connection to marijuana as part of his act, and to think about him being on Sesame Street, I don't think any other weed centric artists have had that kind of love to go like he's smoking a blunt with Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, that's a little crazy, right?
Oh, Willie Nelson. Thank you. Jay pointed out another one. Willie Nelson. That's a good second pick. Because Willie Nelson is almost like in follow me here. Snoop and Willie Nelson are almost analogous artists in the sense of like the with their connection to the.
God, my site has crashed. The site has crashed. Maybe it'll come back up.
Hopefully, if not, hopefully Bridge can privately send you a new solution if there's.
So yeah, maybe he can because my site has crashed. Right
if
now.
not,
let me grab another drink.
Okay, if not, I guess I'm doing play-by-play.
You
for
do
Tony.
the live commentary.
Yeah, I'll do the live commentary for the Tyson fight. So every other fight, you got to hear like the expert analysis from Tony, and then it's gonna be me in the Tyson fight, and then Tyson takes a left, and then Roy Jones uppercut, and then this guy punches this guy over this guy, and slaps this guy in the butt. Oh, he goes to left, right, uppercut. When I was a kid, one of my favorite stone crazy activities, and my friend Matt and I have talked about this a little bit before on our Sopranos streams. We would take like video games like a NBA Live for the Genesis or NHL or whatever, like one of those generations of games, and we would create players, and we create like all these like ridiculous leagues where we'd all design our own teams based on our own interests. My friend Matt had some of the guys from Fish on his team mixed with famous drummers or whatever. And so I would get fucked up enough or crazy enough that I would do stupid commentary, like anyone gave a shit, like, oh, and then Flea passes it over to Flavor Flav, and Flavor Flav slam dunks in your fucking face, asshole. And I always, dreamed of being an X-rated play-by-play commentary artist. So if Tony can't get back a stream, I'll have to we'll have to live vicariously through my fictitious abilities to actually do play-by-play. The YouTube link Jay posted is a backup. There's no sound, but you can watch it. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jay. We'll get that one to Tony in a second in the live chat for anyone that needs to get that. One of our mods, Jay, has that posted in the live motherfucking chat. I didn't see it. I think they shut that thing down. No. Oh, fuck. I hate when they're playing the whack-a-mole with it.
I forgot the beer. I went out there and get the beer.
Oh, now you're making me want to go in the other room and get my fucking chips too. Shit. I saw Tony bringing the bag of chips there. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh my God, shit! I told you I bought that big bag of Kit Kats and.
Oh yeah, you fucking bastard! You have all those fucking Kit Kats. Bring some of that. Bring some of that shit over here.
I'm loaded with Kit Kats. I got like.
Okay, there's a link in the live chat to YouTube that has it without sound theoretically, and Bernie says it's back up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I have to go to YouTube and see.
So everybody, we'll try to keep track of it. By all means, if people know of links, do not post that in the chat. We don't want to see that, please. So yeah, that being said, Snoop's still performing, and Snoop's getting an extended set.
Yeah.
So we still get some time before the actual fight starts. The link I posted is it's blacked out now. Okay. So
is it blacked out?
I guess, but there is one in the chat. Let's see if it's theoretically. Let me see. Let me check it. All right, that sounds like me. Oh, it's being blacked out right now. But it's being blacked out at the moment, but the good thing is that the stream isn't down, so perhaps what they're doing is just not showing it while the music's happening and just waiting for it to come back.
We'll wait before we see what's going on.
Yeah. And if anyone knows of any streams or Tone, the crack site is back online, Bridge says.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you guys, and thank you everyone for taking care of everyone in the live chat tonight doing this. We know not everyone can get the fights, and I think playing on the pirate waters is a lot of fun, and especially if you do it as teamwork. So basically that's what we're doing. If anyone knows how to get everything, say what you need to say without saying too much, because I don't want to see anyone get YouTubed here, because truth be told, they're out there. They're like, if you're at a concert and you're drinking outside.
Snoop Dogg with the fire behind him.
Yeah, no. So Snoop is putting on a pretty good show here. I was shit talking to him a little bit earlier, but he knows people are watching. And let me copy this because I need to reopen the chat. I lost the chat. I need to reopen it.
Am I gonna be that dude to tweet at Nate Robinson? You got Nate.
You're not. How many people? That's a good question. That's actually a good question. How many people tonight are tweeting to Nate Robinson? You just got knocked the fuck out with Debo, Debo memes.
Oh, he's got to get it.
One of those strange things about Tom Tiny Lester, Debo, that I forgot about was after the movie No Holds Barred, when he played the villain in a Hulk Hogan wrestling match. Tom Tiny Lester briefly wrestled as Zeus, not as Tom Tiny Lester. He actually joined the WWF for a while and wrestled in a handful of matches. Basically, all in tag team matches with the I think it was the $1 Million Man, I believe, against Randy Savage.
Yes, it was the $1 Million Man.
Against Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, and would basically just go in the ring and do bear hugs and stuff. But it's just funny to think about that a known actor would come back would go out there as a fictitious character, and beyond that, even that dude that died in No Holds Barred, spoiler alert, the dude that was the guy in Wayne's World 2, I forget the actor's name, but he's in a lot of shit. He was also in Ghostbusters 2 as the Walter Peck of Ghostbusters 2. That guy was the villain, the main villain in No Holds Barred, the main intellectual villain. He came into wrestling too, playing that character. Anyways, so sorry for that random aside. As those of you that are watching and connected live, I'll start in until people catch up, because I know people are out there looking for streams. The ring is being focused on. It looks like we're about to start our match. Do our intros. We got Sugar Ray Leonard they're focusing on. Snoop is out of the announcer booth, and we got our real announcers here, and you can see the excitement in the arena. Every single person in there is excited. The 4 people in the arena. It was Zeus wrestled with Macho Man against Hogan and Beefcake. Okay, yes, it was Hogan and Beefcake. Thank you. That's what it was. It was after the Mega Powers had split. because of the Elizabeth shit. $1 Million Man wasn't involved in that particular angle. Thank you. What I'm confusing it with the Mega Bucks versus the Mega Powers angle, which was Andre the Giant and Ted DiBiase. When DiBiase paid Andre the Giant to beat Hulk Hogan and take the World Championship belt, and then it was dissolved, and they did the tournament that Macho Man won. And then eventually Macho Man got pissed because Hogan was copping a feel on Miss Elizabeth. But can you blame him? Miss Elizabeth, I forget about her sometimes, but if I'm talking about that list of early crushes, she's on that list too. Miss Elizabeth was one of those first early women I noticed, right there with Mrs. Huxtable, Michelle Pfeiffer, Linda Carter, and Miss Elizabeth. Oh, and the Flying Nun there, Forrest Gump's mom. Fucking Sally Field. Yep, it's just about fight time right now. Yeah, sorry for the randomness all over the place, Bird Lady. She's like, I love the randomness, but it happens. That's
right, I'm sorry. I had to do the tweet. I did it.
Oh, you did? You just tweeted Nate Robinson. I love it.
Yeah, I did. Of course I did.
I fucking love it. Dude, take 20 minutes. I don't give a fuck if you're actually doing that. I love it.
Oh, he's got a billion of them. I'm sure he's got a billion of those things.
Oh no, that's gonna be something. Like the gifts are being made right now. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I would be surprised if he's not being sent gifts of that forever. And okay, we got Sugar Ray Leonard in the announcer crew right here.
Yep.
Where do you rank Sugar Ray? Is for middleweights? He's
a great welterweight. As a welterweight, I would rank him.
Oh, welterweight, not middleweight.
I would give him top 6 of all time, maybe 5, and he's in the top 5 of welterweights of all time.
One of my early fight memories as a kid, the first fights I watched was the Hagler.
That was at middleweight when he moved up.
Yeah, that's why I think about him as a middleweight, because the first time I ever saw him fight was that fight, and I was being from the Boston area, I was such a Hagler fan, and I think he's one of those undersung amazing boxers that I think gets forgotten about a little bit through time because of how lightning pole-ish Sugar Ray is, and also even Hearns is to a certain extent, and how those great fights between them of that generation. I know it's different weight class, but he was so dominating for a while in that division, and I still think he kind of that. I don't know about that fight. I don't know. I still think the Hagler did better in that fight than I don't know.
He should have won the fight.
He should have won the fight.
It's his own fault that he lost the fight. He just gave away too many early rounds.
Yeah, he did.
And he was fighting the star of the time, the golden boy of boxing. When Ali left boxing, the next guy to come and take that mantle was Sugar Ray Leonard.
And
he was the one.
And 100%. It's like when you're playing against, and I would say the same thing in basketball, if you're playing against the golden boy of that particular generation, whether it be Jordan, Bird, Magic, the friggin' Shaq, any of the Akeem, you have to beat them so handily because they're gonna get every little call, they're gonna get every little situation. You just have to anticipate that because that's who they are. And in boxing nothing is more true than in the fight game with that stuff too. With
they're gonna do anything they can to give this person a fight.
Yeah, especially with the way judges rank things, and historically how fucked up that shit is.
Especially that live signs back then, promoters hired the judges or approved the judges. So
and wasn't Hagler one of those guys that people didn't love Hagler as a
the promoters? No one liked Hagler because he was his own man.
I fucking loved him. He was one of my early favorite boxers. Loved Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Really good guy. Met him many a times, and really nice guy. Really nice guy, in tremendous shape.
Stephen Hart. Stephen Hart says Roy Jones Jr. was one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. Bird Lady says learned so much during these streams. Tyson's gonna knock him out in seconds. Roy
Jones was, to me, if he would have retired before the Antonio Tarver fight, before he got knocked out in that fight, there would be a debate. Was Roy Jones the greatest fighter of all time? Was he better than Sugar Ray Robinson?
Or
that's how good Roy Jones was. When Roy Jones was fighting, and Floyd Mayweather was fighting, nobody said Floyd Mayweather was better than Roy Jones.
Now,
It was a knowledge fact that Roy Jones was 1,000 times better than Floyd Mayweather.
Now, I have a question for you, a boxer to throw in there if we're talking pound for pound. Where would you rank Julio Cesar Chavez at his best?
He's good. I mean, he gets up there. He's not number one, but Chavez is up there. He was a very good fighter. He was flawed. You know what I mean? You can't rank him higher than Pernell Whitaker because Pernell Whitaker beat him in that fight.
Handily beat him.
Easily. And
handily beat him.
And they gave it a draw. So you can't rank him higher than that. I would say he's definitely in the top 20, without a doubt. And then people say, listen, top 20 of every fighter who ever fought, that's fucking tremendous.
Fuck yeah. Top 50 of all time. I mean, if you think about the NBA having that top 50 players of all time, to just be in that top 50 is crazy. And if you think about boxing with all the different divisions and all that, to even be in that discussion is just amazing. And I would definitely go to Hagler. I'm from Dorchester, said Stephen Hart. Hagler was the man. In the Boston area, Hagler is a fucking hero around here.
Hagler is amazing. He was amazing. Probably one of the greatest chins in boxing history. Yeah. You could hit him with a sledgehammer and the man wasn't going anywhere. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what you hit him with. Hearns hit him with. I mean, Hearns fought Duran and knocked Duran out in 2 rounds.
That was such
He couldn't even hurt Hagler.
That was such a deadly division at that time period. There were some deadly, disgusting fuckers in that division at that time that were killing. If you just think about that compared to now, like, I don't know, and I don't want to be that guy because I do think. You had those 4 Hall of Fame fighters. Yeah, it was just.
They all went to the Hall of Fame. Those guys, right there in that prime. Fighting each other. Yeah, killing each other. Knocking years off each other's primes. This is what they were doing. And you just don't see that. You saw that a little bit in Muhammad Ali's prime where not past his prime, because I think his prime was pre him escaping from the war. I think he was never quite as great as he was after that couple-year break when they fucking unfortunately stripped him of his titles. But I still think he was great after that. But I think at the time when he came back with him and Joe Louis and then Foreman showing up, I mean, I think you had 3 ultimate great killers in that heavyweight division that knocked years off each other, except for, I mean, Foreman left there, but with Frazier and Ali, they killed each other, literally. Yeah, they
killed
took
each other
years off each other's life without a doubt, by finding each other.
Yeah, those 3 fights, no three fights have taken more years off any people's lives than those 3 wars that those 2 guys fought.
Yeah, every one of them was worse than the other one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The last one, both of them. It was just horrifying. It was like watching a Rocky movie. Like Rocky after fighting Ivan Drago. They both were like that, like shaking and fucking.
Yeah, when you say that these guys were willing to die in the ring, they were willing to die in the ring. They literally were willing to die in the ring.
Jay left another message. So before our fight starts, let's listen to Jay's message here.
I think Roy Jones, if you just look at him when he was in his prime, would beat every boxer that ever, came along. And I think him and Mike Tyson are the 2 most dominant boxers ever, because Mike Tyson basically scared his opponents from the time they signed a contract to the time they got into the ring. And Roy Jones plays 5-on-5 basketball games and then went into the fight with no legs and still beat the crap out of his opponents. So, I don't know. To me, those are I don't know, when you look at Tyson in his prime when he actually had Customato, I think he is actually the best fighter ever technically, and Roy Jones is the best just athletically and skill-wise. It's just that he was so athletic, he never developed any kind of boxing technique that actually would work for anyone else. It only worked for him because of his athleticism. It makes sense. And
it briefly worked for Prince Hassim Ahmed until he got knocked the fuck out.
Ahmed had tremendous power. So when you have that type of power that the Prince had, pound for pound, he's one of the most.
Prince is a douchebag, but when he was on his game, it was it was disgusting to watch him fight.
He hit you, he could knock you out at any time. Going backwards, if he landed that right hand, he was able to knock you out. So I don't want to feel like every time this guy says something, I disagree with him, because I don't. As I said, I agree with the Roy Jones thing. Roy Jones, I said, if he would have retired right after Andrew Weiss, the debate would be whether he's better than Sugar Ray Robinson. Who was better? Tyson being the top is not true. Sugar Ray Robinson, Roy Jones, all these people, so many other guys too, are more technically better than Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a phenomenon because of who he was at the time when he came out and what he did. Now, when you look at Mike Tyson, you got to remember he came out at the late 80s. He caught people in between. You know, he was before Lennox Lewis and them, but he was when Larry Holmes and them was old. So when you look at the time when
who was the best heavyweight in the division when he was Spinks? Was Spinks the king of the division?
Yeah, it was like Spinks and Holmes, and they were old at the time. So when he came out, he caught those guys old, and then he went to jail before Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, and Holyfield and them were coming up. He went to jail before that, so he never got those fights. When you look at his resume and his career, Mike Tyson, and you look at the people he beat, there's no truly big names that he beat.
You could
he
say
didn't beat Holyfield. He didn't beat Lewis. When you look at any name, he doesn't have huge names.
His biggest wins, unfortunately, when it seems to be challenged, would be against Razor Ruddock, who is not an excellent boxer. Those fights,
Razor Ruddock, Michael Spinks, who was a light heavyweight and moved up to heavyweight, would be one of his biggest wins. Old Terrell Burbick.
Holmes, he beat an old Holmes, right? Didn't he
old Holmes. He doesn't have a big name on his resume. Anytime he had to fight one of those guys, he lost.
You guys will catch up here. If people watching on delay, the people wondering when it's starting, Roy is about to walk out. We're in Roy Jones's intro right now. Do you have a stream going, Tony?
Yep, I got Roy Jones coming out right now.
Oh, good. I think we're actually timed together now. Roy's walking out. Roy is actually walking out right now for you.
He's walking back and forth.
Okay, I'm still, but less ahead of you because Roy's actually walking out right now. Roy's arms are looking real big. I will say that. Roy.
His arms he's got definitely he doesn't have any cuts in him.
He's waddling. He's waddling though.
He is he has problems walking. Something's going on.
He's waddling a little bit. So Roy, I think he kind of looks cool with the mask. I dig the look with the mask. And here we go, Roy Jones Jr. There we go.
He is waddling too.
He's what you see what I mean? He's DeVito. He's doing.
He just looks like he doesn't want to be there. He looks disinterested in the fight. You know, he just looks like he's just going through the motions. I feel bad. I hope he survives this fight. I hope he doesn't get hurt.
Tony, what's going to happen to boxing when Michael Buffer dies?
That guy's worth like $200-300 million, Michael Buffer.
Okay, I can't listen to you guys. It's fight time. Here we go, and here he is. Here's the fucking Iron Mike. See, Mike.
Here comes Mike.
When Mike's wearing the shirt, like he looks.
There's no walking back and forth with Mike. He comes straight out.
Mike's ready. Mike is ready.
It looks like he's got the. He has the towel. Is it the towel around him, like always, with the hole in it?
Yep. And he just like if Mike without the shirt on, just looking at Mike and he looks slim. He looks as slim as I've seen Mike in like from a boxing standpoint since like pre-jail Mike. Like just
Mike is in the ring with the kuthi on his head, doing the bounce. The beard is gone.
Next will be Will Smith versus Brad Pitt. I think Brad Pitt would fuck Will Smith up. I think Brad Pitt would fuck Will Smith up.
I would think so. It depends how good his boxing. In a street fight, I give it to Brad Pitt.
No, and I think I
don't know. Will Smith is from Philly.
In fairness, I'm influenced by Brad Pitt's movies. I'm thinking about like the movie he did with Leonardo DiCaprio recently, the Hollywood movie, and then the Fight Club. Having those
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, and having those two things in my mind with Brad Pitt, you're thinking that that's the guy you're dealing with. You know, so in reality, I don't know.
All right, we're in the ring. Michael Buffer's doing the introductions right now. No, someone else is outside the ring. Who is this?
Neo about to do the national anthem.
Oh, Neo got the national anthem going on. He took his hat off. Neo usually never takes his hat off. It's rare to see Neo without his hat on.
Yeah. Let's judge let's see if he has an oddly shaped head, and that's why, because let's see if that's the reason.
It is very rare to see Neo without his hat on.
Okay, now I'm a few seconds ahead of seeing Roy and Mike walk around the ring. Roy, I don't know, and maybe it's just Roy just has.
Number one thing I could say from both of them is that they both look dry. Usually, when you get in the ring, you want to work out and get a sweat going so your body gets loose. They're both completely bone dry. So it looks like they weren't throwing any punches in the back. They weren't warming up at all. They're just going in there bone. And when you go in there bone dry, that's usually when you get stopped quick.
Now, Tony,
your body's not warmed up.
Do you think a lack of an audience has any effect on Mike's adrenaline here? If there's the fact that there's no people there, does that have any effect on this fight to the point?
You love to hear the crowd scream your name. You love to play off the adrenaline of the crowd. Because obviously, if Roy Jones, there was a crowd here, the crowd would be going crazy for Mike Tyson over Roy Jones right now.
Yeah, Mike would be going. That's what I'm saying. Like Mike is one of those people that more than anything, and anyone's ever been on a stage in front of people, some people can feed off that adrenaline, and Mike's always been someone. Watch that second Holyfield fight. Some could argue, or I would argue, that the ear biting thing came from him just being so hyped up on adrenaline. And
he was getting headbutted.
Holyfield was a dirty fucker in that second fight.
He was. Holyfield's a dirty fighter.
He is.
Never. Holyfield is definitely a dirty fighter.
Yeah.
Don't let the God stuff fool you.
Don't let the word holy. Yeah. Don't let the word holy in his last name fool him. He's a dirty motherfucker. I agree. He's one of the dirtiest heavyweights ever. Like in the sense
he headbutt the shit out of you when he has a chance.
And he's slick about it too. He's like one of those guys that will hit you and then complain to the guy, like complain to the ref, like he's fucking with me.
He headbutted Hasim Rahman, and if you look up Google, you can Google it right now if it'll show the world. Hasim Rahman Holyfield headbutt. Look at that picture of the knot he put on Hasim Rahman's head because of the headbutt he put on him. It's one of the worst hematomas you've ever seen in your life, and Holyfield did that in one headbutt on Hasim Rahman.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that so many people talk about Holyfield's headbutts. Oh, here we go. Yep, Michael Buffer's doing his thing.
Yes, look, I'm excited for this fight.
Yeah, me too.
And I shouldn't be.
Yeah,
but I am.
This is too. I mean, excuse me. Think about this legitimately. Like a 54-year-old and a 51-year-old about to fight, and I'm fucking excited about this.
I am. Roy looks nervous.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. He's pacing.
I'm more
nervous.
Now he's putting it on a little bit. They're doing his intros. He's trying to smile, but he keeps and I've seen Roy fight a lot. He never looks this. This is Roy. This is like if I was doing a stream with Tony and I'm like, yeah, Tony, and yeah, we're having fun. Yep. Like he's like head down. He's giggling a little bit, like he's trying to like act like it's no big deal, but he's got to know. He's one of the smartest guys, like as a commentator, and he's got to know that Tyson's going in there. Like, look at Mike. Like Mike is that guy you don't want to see.
No, I think Mike is gonna come right at him, charge right at him, and really just try to put him out in like within 30 seconds. 50-6
with 44 KOs. 6 losses are a bunch of losses. A lot of them at the end of his career when he just didn't give a fuck. It's going to be I'm very interested to see how Mike approaches the beginning of this fight, because to your point, is he going to come out right away? Is he going to do his bob and weave thing? I'm just curious to see how Mike approaches this.
It's kind of weird. Mike Tyson's in a weird position because right now he's the bigger man. Usually when he fights, he's never the bigger man.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing people got to realize. If the guys Mike Tyson always fighting, he was so small. Lennox Lewis 6'6", These are all big 240
Yeah,
pound
Holyfield
men this guy's fighting.
with much longer reach than him too.
Yeah.
I think Holyfield had like 5 or 6 inches on him or something. Like I could be making that up.
Mike's fighting these much bigger guys, you know what I mean, and knocking a lot of them out. And Mike's not that big of a dude. That's what makes Mike Tyson.
Bernie in the live chat, he's jiggly. Just give me the check. How many rounds is it again? 8 2 minutes, I believe, Kev.
It's 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, and I believe there's 8 of them. Oh, we're about to start here, and Tony's gonna take over with some play-by-play coming up here in a minute as we're about to start, and here we go.
All right, I'm at round 1. Tyson Jones. Here we go for the big fight that everybody's been waiting for. Both men are in their corner, warmed up, ready to go. Roy Jones has a concerned look on his face. He nods yes to the referee. He comes out. Mike Tyson comes out stalking first. Roy Jones throws a left-handed jab. Mike Tyson throws 2 jabs and comes back. Roy Jones got his left hand really low. He ducks out of the way of Mike Tyson's jab. Mike Tyson not as aggressive as I thought he would be, but he's definitely using the jab, trying to work his way in. Yeah. Mike Tyson with 2 left hooks to the body. Roy Jones slips up to the side, back in the center of the ring. Mike Tyson with another jab. Roy Jones dancing around the ropes, hands up. And Mike Tyson is throwing a bunch of body shots.
Yeah, Mike is fighting smarter than Mike's fighting smarter than I thought he was going to fight.
Another left hook to the body by Mike Tyson in the clinch, and he's hitting him while they're in the clinch, working on his body. Mike Tyson's definitely fights. He's not going all crazy. He's definitely just coming in there fighting, but. Mike, he doesn't look like the heavy bag, but big left hook by Mike Tyson lands on Roy Jones.
First big punch of the night.
And clinches Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's pounding on his body with the right hand while Roy Jones holds on.
Bernie in the live chat saying, it looks like 2 uncles fighting in the driveway at the barbecue.
Roy Jones still holding on. While he's holding on, Mike Tyson's working the body.
Roy moving quicker than I thought he would.
He's holding on with that right now. Roy Jones, the ref breaks him up. Roy Jones in his typical Roy Jones hands down stance. Mike Tyson measuring him. Roy Jones flicks a left-hand jab, flicks another jab, flicks another jab.
Mike's just taking his time, Tony. I think Mike does look old, but I like how old he looks in the sense he doesn't look winded old. He looks old in the sense that he's biding his time for when he's throwing his punches.
No doubt about it. My stream is froze up. Wait a second.
Okay, so it's the end of the first round. Mike did look a little, didn't look as crisp as I wanted to. Tubbs says in the live chat, was a little sloppy. Roy didn't do much of anything in that round other than avoid and hug a bit. Tyson couldn't get any clean punches in. He doesn't look too winded, which I think is the important thing. Bernie says that was an anticlimactic first round.
Oh my God, I'm down again.
Oh, we get the stream down. Hopefully, it will come back up in a second.
Oh, it does. Phil, you have to take over.
Okay. Round 2, I'll get into things. Who do you think's gonna win at this point? Watching this, I think we're just gonna go. If round 1 is an indication of where this fight's gonna go, it's more along the lines of I think it's going to be 8 rounds of exhibition. I don't think anyone's going down. But to me, I think Mike is measuring him off. Here we go. We start round 2 as Mike is looking in. Roy is dodging. Mike's coming at him with a couple of strong lefts, charging at him. They're clinching up close, but Mike is getting in those good punches into Roy's gut. Roy seems to be absorbing it pretty well, but he is holding on for dear life. Mike does seem to have some fire onto that punch. He's coming out. Roy is holding on for dear life right here at minute 37 in this second round. And then they broke apart. The ref is going to get them to go in together. Here they come back in. He's giving Roy a little, stop clinching motherfucker kind of look. Tyson looking in. Tyson stalking him a little bit. I don't like this camera angle that they're choosing right now. Here we go. Back to a normal angle. Oh, Roy gets in a good punch on Mike, but Mike doesn't flinch at all. Roy doing his kind of stalking, taunting a little bit and dancing on the outside and poking jab, but backing up with the jab instead of moving forward, as Tyson being very economical with his punches in a sense, not throwing a lot of punches. And this is the surprise. I don't know if Tony's similar to what he was talking about in the round 1. I expected Mike to throw a few more punches in this fight. Mike seems to be a little bit picky and choosy with throwing them. The announcer kept on saying it looked like my old uncles fighting at the barbecue. So some of the links are down. A couple people in the live chat all saying the links are down right now. Oh, see, Tyson was coming in for a big punch there, but Roy ducked under it, and Tyson ended up hitting his back there. Right now, this round 2 is extra sloppy. And these 2-minute rounds, I must admit, are going by a bit too quick as we're down to 22 seconds in round 2. In a second round where really nothing happened except for some dancing and Roy poking in a couple of sneaky shots. Again, Roy walking away. We got 10 seconds left in the round as Tyson's stalking him, going left, going right. Someone getting a big punch here at the end. Let's do it. Oh, Tyson gives him a couple. Oh, quick combination by Tyson at the end there that almost caught some light. And now we get the end of the round, and Tyson gets in a couple shots after the bell. And then after Tyson hit him at the end of the bell, he goes over and he gives Roy a little hug to apologize because Mike's a good guy now.
Yeah, so it seems like what people are seeing right now and what you're seeing from this fight so far.
Dances with the stars, as Tubbs said in the live chat.
That they're both truly old.
Yeah, they're true old. Hold it down for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it seems like they're both truly old. They're both truly old. I'm looking at the fight right now. It seems Roy's flicking a jab at Mike Tyson. Tyson's coming in with a left hook to the top and to the body. Roy's holding on, and it seems like and it ends. This round ends. It just seems like you truly see how old these guys are, and that they don't look like they could stand a chance versus anybody.
Are you back up, Tony?
The YouTube guy is like, I'm watching him put it up on his channel. He's going so fast. He's trying to get it up there as fast as
okay, so I'll step in. Tell me when you're back. Round 3 is coming back out. They're both boxing a little bit. They're wrestling again. Their punches are quick. Both guys got in a couple of quick punches there in the wrestle, but I kind of wish they would trade blows more. It's not even coming out as an exhibition because general exhibitions generally happen to have clean punches. Right now it seems that two guys that are kind of sloppily trying to get their punches in. And I think, in my impression, this is Roy doing this. Roy keeps just going in there. He's doing the Evander style of dealing with Mike here, even at this point. Every time Mike tries to get in there for a combination or any kind of throwing punches, you hold Mike and then you punch him as you're going out. That's the sort of thing. That's the way of dealing with Mike. That's
and what you can see what's going on dealing with Mike is that, listen, he looked better training than he does in the ring.
Yeah,
and I just tell people it's not the same. Training is a different situation than somewhere in the league. I think old Roy landed was a good left jab in that round. From what I've seen, it seems like this round's about to start right now.
Okay, so you're about to start 3. I'm 3 has 30 seconds left for me. Oh, couple of quick punches thrown at the end here of round 3, but none of them connected. Roy had a good little combination there, but
I think they advanced around. I think it's gonna right then. Yeah, it's Roy. As soon as Mike throws, Roy's holding.
Yeah, he's doing the Evander thing.
They're checking his head for a cut right now. It seems like it looks like they're checking Roy's head for a cut. There's nothing there. The ref touches gloves, so it's come back and fight. But Roy switches to southpaw on Mike Tyson right here and lands a left hand when he does it, and then grabs on the mic again and pushes Mike up against the ropes. He's bullying Mike around, pushing Mike back. Staying as close as he can to Mike right now. 25 seconds is what I got left in this round.
Yeah, I mean, this
Royce is flurry, and he gets away before Mike hits him with a big left hook. He throws a left and a right. He lands on Mike Tyson, and Tyson holds on to Roy. He walks him all the way back against the ropes, and Roy switches around so his back doesn't hit the ropes. And it seems like they're doing the mambo in there right now. Yeah,
dances with, as someone said in the live chat, dances with the stars. But what's interesting to the way I'm watching this fight is I'm trying to, since we're not getting excitement in the fight itself, it's interesting to think about seeing these two fight at this point in time. It gives you more of an, because as you always say, styles make fights, and you get an inkling of what it would be like when both of them were at their prime. I think Roy would fight very similarly to this, except he would back up and get a lot more combinations in as he was fighting Tyson. So far in this fight, this makes me think that Roy at his prime against Tyson at his prime would have more of a chance than I think, because he would be able, especially post Holyfield fights. I think once Holyfield sort of got that book on Tyson, it's a way of dealing with him and mitigating his strength to a certain extent. You tie him up and you tie his arms up so he can never set in to actually have an opportunity to hit you. And that's what Roy's been doing.
Just to grab him up anytime he gets close, grab him, hold him, push him back. Same thing Lennox Lewis did to him.
Yeah, same thing Lennox did. Yeah. Same thing,
same technique. Don't let him work on the inside.
Exactly.
Keep on the outside. Never let him work on the inside.
Now, people in the live chat are like, do you think Jake Paul would be the most? Do you think Jake Paul would be the most devastating KO on Mike Tyson and Roy Jones? Yeah. Would you have thought that Jake Paul would be the most devastating KO of the night?
Well, it ain't over yet. Let's see what happens. It's round 4 of 8. Just started right now. Mike Tyson comes out aggressive. Roy Jones holding on again as soon as Mike throws a blow. And they seem to be doing more holding than they are fighting right now. Mike Tyson is trying to come. He tries to slip a punch. Roy Jones is circling around him, dropping the jab, circling around, trying to stay busy, trying to do the old Roy Jones trick.
He's trying
and keeping his distance fairly well.
Yeah, no, Roy. That's what's making me think. That's what's making me think that prime both of them, Roy would be able to like hold on for a while, and if he could avoid Tyson and knock him up. But the thing about Tyson is all he needs to do is get one kind of combination in on you, and then
one shot. If he can hit him solid once, he can get him out of there.
Yeah, and I'm even seeing this here, and I think Roy is definitely afraid of Tyson getting started here, and I think
he's holding that arm on him straight up. You know, and the referee warns Roy.
Yeah, referees keeps warning Roy. He's like, "Come on, dude. Do you want to fight Mike or do you not want to fight Mike?"
Roy should be like, "Do you want to fight him?"
Bridge says Tyson seemed to skip lower leg day and leg days in general. If we want to give Tyson a little bit of shit and say his legs don't look as good as they could. And is this wriggling or boxing, as someone said in the live chat? What is up with this? They need a nap, says Bernie. Did anyone else pay for this? I paid for this, but thank goodness for a couple of super chats from our audience to kind of mitigate that a little bit. Thank you, Big Will, and who is our second super chat? I forget earlier in the evening, but thank you to our two super chatters this evening for helping me mitigate some of my costs for the fight.
Yeah,
but
it just seems that Roy's tactic is to throw a punch and hold,
and that's a shame. It's a shame in this kind of fight that like I would hope that they would have just let it swing a little bit more, but. You know, I get it. Roy's afraid of Mike. And so this is the way. He's not afraid to fight anybody, but he respects Mike's strength and potential too much, and he doesn't want to get knocked out. So he'd rather do this for 8 rounds. You know, he'd rather fight this than have Mike actually connect on a couple blows. And I'm not saying Mike doesn't look as crisp as I thought he was going to look, but I think Roy is being smart here and not letting Mike get into a rhythm. But Mike,
listen, this is what Roy needs to do to not get knocked out.
Yeah.
It may be boring to us. It may not be what we want to see, but it's helping him survive and keep his faculties and get that payday and go off into the Sunday.
Yeah, he's showing his ring general ability in a sense, in a way in his ability to control the action in the ring. And that's not one of Tyson's strengths when he's not intimidating you. Tyson is a reactor. He's not necessarily the one that's setting the standard in the ring. And Roy is definitely setting the standard right here.
No doubt. Round 5 has just started, and it starts as it ends. Mike Tyson's trying to bob and weave. Roy throws a punch and collapses on Mike. And it seems that Mike is doing some of the holding too. Mike is not actually doing well. Good left hook by Mike Tyson.
No, Mike, and someone said it in the chat, Mike looks in good cardiovascular shape. Oh.
He does. Especially for his age, no doubt about it.
And
but
Mike is
he's not working like you would think he would be working.
No, but I think he's just warming up though, and I'm about to I'm a little ahead of you too. I think part of it is Roy has got him. I want to give Roy credit where he deserves. He's throwing him off balance. He didn't let Mike get his rhythm, and it was $49.99 is what I paid. So I got about half of it back from the super chat. So thank you, super chat. I'm happy. Oh, Mike's looking a little bit better in this round. That
So
was
if Mike would just let his hands go a little more, I think he could look better. He can't disagree to allow Roy to hold him.
right. That's the thing. I think Mike likes Roy too much.
Oh, good left hook by Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
on
that
top.
you're
Not
about
solid.
you're about to get into it. You're about to get into the best Mike stretch of the fight. The closest he
Not
looks like
solid.
Mike.
Roy Jones doing his dozy dough, and the brown ends.
Yeah, yeah, in the round ends. But Mike had a few moments there, and that's where the 2-minute rounds are fucking sucking right here. Roy looks winded as fuck.
He looks exhausted in the corner.
Mike looks like he's just getting started in the sense. Like so I think that is a good credit. Mike can fight more exhibition fights. And I think again someone that wants to punch with him a little bit more, it would be entertaining to watch, but I don't think Roy wants to punch with him.
No, he's not trying to get he's just trying to get through it. He looks exhausted in the corner.
I'm Mike-splaining a little bit because I like Mike Tyson, but I do think if Mike was in a fight with someone that wanted to throw more punches, he would look a little bit more flashy. I think Roy is stopping Mike's engine right now, and not letting us see what we want to see.
And get knocked out.
Yes. He's fighting too smart. Roy, give the people what they want to see.
Well, right now it doesn't look like this would be, sustainable for Mike Tyson. This income, him coming back. I don't know if he doesn't knock Roy out. I don't think people want to see him again.
No, and we were talking about that all night. That's Mike has one. Mike has now 3 more rounds. 6. I'm in the middle of round 6 to get Roy in trouble. And if he can get him in trouble at one point in time in this fight, at least, that's what he needs to show something. Otherwise, these exhibition fights aren't gonna pull. It's not gonna be the same thing.
This will be the only one. No one will watch it again. Yeah. If he doesn't get Roy out of here.
Yeah,
no one's gonna mind, because from the what we're seeing of Mike Tyson right now, it just wouldn't. No one would be.
No, you got a lot of disappointed people watching this right now. I'm excited to see Tyson fighting, but from like a fight anticipation standpoint, it's a lot of people are going to be disappointed by this.
It just shows you how training videos can influence you.
Yeah,
like when you see the training videos, he looks like he's in his prime, but training and actually being in the ring against someone who's fighting back and not trying to get hit. The pads don't move; they're there to get hit.
Santivia, yes, Roy is holding Mike to try to avoid getting KO'd completely.
No doubt about it. He's doing a good job.
He's doing a good job of it too. Yeah,
which I can't blame him for doing. Why would you want to get KO'd?
No, you're
that's his strategy.
You're absolutely right. Like, why just stand there and be that punching bag for Mike? Because people want to see Mike fight. Like that's the thing. People want to see a guy just stand there and go, "Okay, Mike, hit me," and see Mike beat the shit out of him. That's what people want to see. But again, I think Mike looks a little frustrated to me in the sense that he's not tired though. He doesn't look at all tired.
Damn, Weed Map's got the smile like Amazon underneath
it. I know that's a good. So yeah, Mike. Roy still has some dodge ability, and Roy is very unconventional still in his style, but very good in his unconventionality.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Roy,
you don't even see like really Roy landing anything.
No, Roy has landed.
You Mike landing anything, like nothing. No one's landed anything significant at all.
Mike's had like 1 punch that was significant. Roy's had pretty much 0. Oakley says the fact that Roy is going this long at least shows me that the fight is not scripted. Bliss says I honestly think Mike looks great for his age. Roy is just locking Mike's arms down.
Roy is exhausted in the corner.
Yeah, Roy look.
But looks like he never trained for this.
But Mike's not being aggressive enough to make him pay for it. Like here he is.
Mike's sitting back.
Here he goes. He's bobbing. Here you go, Mike. I'm sorry, you're about to get come on. That's what you need to do. And then Roy hugs him again. See, okay, when Mike's throwing his punches, he seems to still smoothly throw his punches, and it's hard to tell if he can take a punch still.
Yeah, that's good body work for a couple of shots there, but he needs to just be fighting in there. He needs to be actually, doing some damage in there. And it's not like he's trying to do that.
He's not. Mike needs to really start throwing. You said it earlier. Mike needs to really start throwing his hands if he wants to get people smiling right now, so to speak.
Well, this will just be he'll make his money for this one fight, and it'll be a done deal.
Yeah, I mean,
no one's gonna pay for him versus Holyfield in this performance. He would have had to knock Roy out to make people think that, all right, you're gonna come in here and revenge your loss to Holyfield. You're gonna knock him out.
And it's not about not about them contending necessarily. Like Jay was saying, people still pay to see Tyson fight. No one really thought he could be a contender, but I think it's about that what if, that thought that maybe it's possible. And I think the problem with this isn't that so much thinking that Tyson could be a contender. It's, was this entertaining? And we're at round 7 of 8 here, so we can kind of start to look at this fight as if it happened. And this isn't entertaining. I feel like towards the end of round 7 here, as we're getting, Mike is missing some opportunities to punch. Roy
can't land it. I mean, if you can't land this shot on an old Roy Jones, who are you gonna land it on?
Yeah.
He can't land a shot, no matter whether it's Roy holding him or Roy being elusive. He can't land that shot on Roy Jones. You can't hit him.
And watch the end of this round, Tony. If you're watching it, Roy literally starts running away from Mike at the end of the round. Like
as he should. It's only 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's really using these 2-minute rounds to just sprint away. Yeah, that last round was boring. I agree, Fernandez. That round 7, there's a case. Round 7, and I think it was round 2, Roy just basically avoids Mike. So we're going into the last round here. Is this round 8? Last round?
Yep, this is it. It's about to be done.
Yeah. No, well, it was good to talk to you tonight, Tony.
Mike looks like he's breathing a little heavy right now.
Yeah, Mike's starting to get a little winded. He's starting to reach it, and as we lead to our last round, come on, Roy, actually box this last round.
You don't know how old they look until you see them sitting in that corner, and then you can really see that they look really old.
So we're into our final round here, and hopefully Roy won't wrestle with him. And yes, he's wrestling with him.
He better. You know, I mean, that's all he can do.
Bernie, Roy, hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. You can do this. And I feel bad. Like we're being realistic announcers here. I feel bad for the actual announcers that are trying to get excited for this.
Yeah, there's nothing to be excited for. Roy Jones switches southpaw. He takes a body shot from Mike, takes another body shot from Mike, holds on, drops a little uppercut in there, holds Mike behind his head. He pushes off. Mike Tyson comes in again. Right as soon as he gets inside again, Roy Joe holds on again. He's holding on again. He's got his hands up. He comes off the break with a left hook. Roy Jones bouncing on his feet. He ducks underneath a left hook by Mike Tyson. Does a little dance when he does it. Picks up his legs. He's trying to showboat. Switches to southpaw again. Little flurry by Roy Jones. Doesn't do anything. Just a pity pat punches. Kind of shoe shine Mike in the stomach. Right there, pushes Mike all the way up against the ropes and holds him again.
Hold him again. Every time.
Roy's just posing. He stands back, posing, stands back, poses, throws a right hand, misses. Mike, 2 left hands to the body. Roy Jones holds him again. Only 40 seconds left in this fight. It looks like that Roy Jones is going to survive the fight.
No, and I think I know what it is. I think Mike doesn't, I don't know if he hates anybody enough anymore or has the rage enough anymore to hit people with intention the way he can hit a bag. And I know it's editing too, but I think like he seems to be not pulling his punches, but he's not.
Look, if you get into a street fight with Mike Tyson, you have a hard time. But if a trained boxer like Roy Jones is in here, knows how technique and knows what to do, this is what you're going to get from him, you know, and that's it. And the fight's over. It ends.
Yeah, a disappointing end, and the highlight of the night is watching Nate Robinson get knocked the fuck out. But I do think in some ways it seemed like either he can't do it anymore, he doesn't have the instinct to do it anymore. Mike had some open shot opportunities to take some big shots and some openings that he didn't seem to take advantage of.
As Larry Holmes, when he told me, he said, You can see the door, but you just can't walk through.
Yeah, I think we saw some of that with Mike tonight. I think he's not moving poorly through the ring in 2-minute rounds. I think, if he got winded by the end of this, I think a couple of 3-minute rounds would probably be hard for him. I think seeing him move and seeing him bob and weave at times was all right, but he didn't seem to have the killer instinct to punch.
No, he didn't. It didn't seem like he just didn't. It didn't seem like. Look, I said you see him hitting the pads, you see him doing all that stuff, and you think he's gonna kill Roy Jones the way he hits those pads. It's not the same. It's just not the same. Mike is exhausted. Roy Jones is exhausted. Both of them mouths hanging wide open. And that's it. The fight's over.
Yeah, Mike's ready to smoke weed again. He's
They
ready.
Mike made $10 million. Roy made at least $3 million. They're probably going to get paid more than that, and the fight's done.
As Bridge says, Tyson wants his Legends League to do other stuff like play tennis and stuff, and swim with sharks, like fight Jaws and shit like that. You know,
no, the Legends League is done. If this is what the Legends League is, it was not a good start.
Fernandez, thank you so much for helping me mitigate some of my costs again. Thank you for hosting, gents. Thank you, Fernandez, for helping out with that super chat donation. I really do appreciate that. Pale Horse won a couple bucks on Mike. You guys are 1 round behind me. You don't have anything not much to look forward to, Natalie. But yes, I agree with you, Tony. I think historically the problem with Legends type stuff, and it's what I was afraid of tonight. I'm still glad I got the fight. I'm still glad we're watching and having some fun tonight. Good excuse to stream. But with these Legend Leagues, it's like watching Pros versus Joes or any of those old boxing things where it's just tough. It's just tough to have that same energy of the competition. I think maybe if this was an actual fight with actual rules, you could have got behind it, but I don't think either one of them wanted that. You know, when we actually see them down, you know, as an exhibition that they both made it through. They both seem winded by the end. And yeah, you know, it was fun to imagine that Tyson could be great again, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I guess I think Eddie is, like I said, he you know, could he fight Tyson Fury? Could he fight these guys? Does he have a puncher's chance? Of course he has a puncher's chance, but realistically, you could just watch this fight. He couldn't beat any of those guys.
And I do think he could put on a more visually entertaining show with someone that was more game. I think the one thing I learned from this fight is that Mike can still physically throw punches that could look good. I think there was a couple of times. I just don't think Roy was game to let him do that on him, because Roy's smart enough to know if he took a couple of those things, even at Mike at his age, would probably put him off. Like if he fought a heavier heavyweight that could take a couple of Mike's punches without balking, I think an exhibition fight would be slightly more entertaining with Mike. But I think with Roy, knowing that if he took one too many of Mike's punches and let him get some in, that he wouldn't trade well in that situation.
Well, and the whole thing is this: when you're fighting these fights, especially Roy doesn't have any more plans after this fight. You're gonna fight this fight. When it's over, it's over. He's gonna take his money and go home. It was Mike who had the plans for this league. This is his league to come back and fight this guy. The pressure was more on Mike to look good than it was for Roy to look good. Roy survives. He looks good. He didn't get knocked out. He looks good. Now Mike is the one who had to come back and make people believe that he was still the same fighter he was when he was young that he is now. And I hope everyone could look at this and see that he's not. It's not his fault that he's not. He's 50-something years old. You just can't do that. George Foreman was a once-in-a-lifetime situation. It's not happening.
Yeah. In retail, who won? Mike Tyson, because he won $10 million.
No, that's the bottom line. $10 million guaranteed, plus whatever they sold in the pay-per-view.
No, Mike looks happy, and I mean, I'd want to. If Mike wants to keep doing these, I just don't think you're gonna get the same burst or buzz that you got with this particular one. I think you're in a situation here where Mike needed to put on a good show to sell these kind of events, and I don't think Roy let him put on a good show, and I got to applaud Roy for that. You got to applaud Roy for turning this into two uncles fighting at a barbecue instead of anything resembling a boxing match.
He did exactly what he needed to do to survive this fight, to win this fight, and not win the fight, but do what he had to do not to get knocked out in the fight. And not getting knocked out in the fight is a win.
Yeah. By Tyson showing nothing in this, Roy won the night, even if Tyson won the fight.
Exactly. Tyson had all the pressure on him to come out here and knock out Roy Jones. He did not do it. He didn't even get close to doing it.
No man got in more than one single punch. There was no combination hit in this fight. And again, the highlight of the night is watching. It was almost worth paying for the whole thing just to watch Nate Robinson get knocked out like that, because you don't see knockouts.
Looks like Mike Tyson's mad during the interview at Roy Jones.
He is.
And he's more mad at the interview than he was in the fight.
Yeah, he's mad because Roy wouldn't let him get started.
Mm-hmm.
Because and that's the thing. Like we were saying, what I was saying earlier, Mike is never someone, especially in a fight like this, that can control the action. It's just not his way. And Roy is definitely a ring general. That's one of his prime talents in the best of his ability.
It's like Mike's about to hit Jim Gray, and I would like him to do it too.
That would be amazing. Wouldn't that be amazing if Mike
It looks like he's about to punch Jim Gray right in his face.
Like if he just knocked him the fuck out, like like if he Rockied fucking the Don King character in Rocky 5 and just
He looks like he's about to punch Jim Gray. Right?
Tyson looks scary, and then again, this is where Tyson's a scary fucker. He looks way scarier in this interview than he did in the ring.
That's the aura of Mike Tyson. You know that he just looks like he's a nut, but you just seeing him in action. In a street fight, Mike Tyson probably fuck you up.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with Mike. I still wouldn't fuck with Mike Tyson. Mike looks angry. Oh, Bliss, a sensitive man. Thank you guys. This was enjoyable. Roy is still winded during the interview, but thank you so much for the super chats, guys. It means so much, even more than ever right now with things the way they are. So super chats are incredibly important. So thank you so much. Tyson does seem happy. He seems happy that he fought tonight, but but wouldn't you be happy if you just won $10 million?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're giving it to charity. For someone like Mike right now,
he's not giving that shit to charity.
That's the stripper's name down the street.
He ain't giving that shit to charity.
Charity from Centerfolds. Good evening, Big E. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone that tuned in. We're going to start to wrap things up pretty soon here at the end. We could only talk about this fight only so much, but as we're starting to wrap things down, thank you to all of you guys that joined us tonight for this. Either way, whether it was a great fight or not, as we said, it was towards the beginning, like this might have happened. It was a good time to get to hang out with you guys, and good to have Tony on tonight. So Mike looked better than expected. This is my thing about Mike. I don't think he looked bad in the ring, and I've said this a couple times now. If he was with somebody in the ring that was okay with being hit a couple times, like in the sense of like not clutching every time, standing there going toe to toe one or two times in the fight, like you hope in an exhibition match with two stars. When you're dealing with a fight like this, when you deal with two historic great boxers, what you're hoping in an exhibition is that for the most part they dance around the ring, talk some shit, poke around with some jabs, and then there's 3 or 4 moments in the fight where they legit stop and go blow for blow, and you get to see them both take some punches and punch back and forth. Roy did not want to try Tyson tonight, in the sense he didn't want to feel what one of Mike's fresh shots felt like. Mike would have taken as many blows from Roy as Roy wanted to punch him. He doesn't give a fuck. Mike's crazy. Roy is. Have you heard Roy talking lately? Roy is like 1 or 2 Mike Tyson punches away from being completely punch drunk. Roy's not stupid. He doesn't want to actually get flush hit, and Mike is not talented enough. He's too old at this point to control the ring enough to shut down that shit. He couldn't do it when he was younger against Holyfield, or against Douglas did it to him too. And friggin' what's his name? Some of those last couple of fights, guys did it to him too.
Yeah, the average man in the street, he'll fuck you up. Yeah. But someone who's skilled boxer, who's used to being in the ring, who's not going to be afraid, he can't do that to them. It's
No.
he gets held and they just hold him, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. Mike had to leave to smoke. Yeah, Mike's like, fuck this shit. I'm out of that.
No doubt about it.
No, Jake, I'm glad they didn't stop over a cut. I'm glad they had the fight. You know, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad, you know, it was something to do tonight. And when there's a limit,
Pandemic.
Pandemic, and there's a limit of like evening activities and event activities. The fact that a big chunk of people all got this fight and all were watching it at the same time, and that we all got to hang out tonight it's fun. But you know, it could have been better. I feel like again, the highlight of the night, Nate Robinson getting knocked out. Tony.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt, Nate Robinson getting knocked out.
And
highlight of the night.
And to what Tony was saying, notice that Mike went from happy to mad and back. He's scary.
He does it. He does it every time. I'm telling you, he's a nut when it comes to that. His emotions are all over the place.
So we have one more voicemail from Jay here that we'll play in a second. And if anyone wants to get in a last-minute question or comment about the fight, you can do that in 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. You can text that or call it. If I missed your comment in the chat and you want to get your comment definitely in, you can definitely text that, or you can call and leave a voicemail. Now is the time, as what do we got? 12:30. Probably wrapping up in the next 10 minutes or so. We're going to listen to Jay's message here, clear some of the live motherfucking chat, and anyone else who wants to call in, now's the time. Also, again, have to say special thanks to all the super chatters tonight that helped me mitigate some of my costs for the event. If YouTube wasn't such a fucking loan shark pimp asshole and stealing some of our super chats, Tony, I would probably mitigate the fight so far, but I'm close. You know, I'm at least you guys have got me close. So thank you so much for helping me out.
Got 105 people here watching this.
Oh wow, we have this is one of the biggest groups we've had in a while. Oh, is the one and only motherfucking Carmine in the live chat? Great to see the Carmine. Anyone else watch Jake Paul fuck up Nate Robinson? Yes, we did, Carmine. He knocked him the fuck out. He deboed his ass. He knocked him the fuck out.
Terrible. That's what happens when you go in there and you underestimate people, and you think you can just beat them just because. And I'm gonna say, I said it earlier. You think you're gonna beat them with your blackness alone? You can't do that. That's how you get knocked out, man. You can't take people for, you gotta take people seriously. And that's it. And I've seen this, like I said, I've seen it in my life. You can get knocked out by anybody.
Oh, the awesome.
Nate Robinson really thought he was just going to go in there and do a number on that person. Never fought a professional fight in his life, but he felt like he's going to go in there and do a number on this dude. And I'm guaranteed half of the reason was because he was fighting some white dude. And he thought, I'll beat this white boy's ass. Well, this white boy just knocked you the fuck out.
Tony, that would be like me fighting you. Like, I'd come in, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd like charge you head first. They'd be like, what the fuck? It was embarrassing for Nate, as Carmine said.
It truly was. It was embarrassing for Nate Robinson.
You hate to see it. Better. Yeah, as Carmine says, hate to see it. Same thing. Carmine, a New Yorker. Hate to see a Nick go embarrass himself like that wearing the Knicks.
Yeah, he shouldn't be wearing the New York Knicks colors. It's very embarrassing. His ass was all up in the air with the New York Knicks color and it bouncing up and down in the air. No one wants to see that shit. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing for my hometown state and my hometown team. And that's it. And that's just about it. Look, you could look at many NBA players who got into fights with other NBA players. They don't know how to throw a punch. It looks terrible. They don't know what they're doing. So to think that you can go in there with someone, and Paul has been training for at least 2 years to box, he knows what he's doing. He didn't take the fight to lose. He took the fight because he knew he was going to win.
Nate running in there head first. He was like head down, like running straight through.
I'm just going to duck my head and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to.
He thought he was playing Street Fighter and he was doing that Bison charge. When Bison just goes straight forward at somebody, that's what he thought he was doing.
No, that doesn't work in real life.
Carmine says, Tony preaching facts. We got Mario Lopez in the live chat right now. Oh my God.
Is it really?
No, we got it's Mario Lopez Jr. though. It's Mario Lopez's kid. Draw me to Tyson, win that fight. We got Fuck Boxing says Uncle. Will Carter says listening to you guys is easily 100% more entertaining than the final dance. Thank you guys for always bringing joy. Will Carter, thank you for always being an awesome motherfucker.
No doubt, Big Will. What up to Carmine Red Team Reviews?
What's even more annoying is that Jake Paul fought something who's incredibly mediocre, and now he'll have a big fucking head over it. We were saying that, like, he's gonna put He's gonna put that on the intro of every one of his YouTube videos.
He should.
If
he deserves it. He did it.
If you
no matter what you say, he landed the shot that put that man on his ass like that, and he was the underdog in the Vegas betting.
Tony,
underdog to do it.
If you knocked Nate Robinson out like that, would you put that at the beginning of every one of your?
If I knocked Nate Robinson out, I would have that every time I walked playing on my cell phone. Every place I walked in, you would see that knockout repeat. I would play. There wouldn't be a chance for you not to see it, especially the way he got knocked out. You know, it's just disgusting. So, listen, don't sleep on people. Take every threat seriously. And that's what you have to do in life. And that's what you should know, you know. But he just thought, I'm going to walk through this white dude. I'm going to go in there, young white guy. I'm going to knock him out. He's just a YouTube star. Well, now you have been, for the rest of your life, you are going to be a knockout meme forever. And that's just the way it's going to go down. And it's going to boost Paul's status. And I think, you know, he's lining up that fight with Conor McGregor.
Yep.
And he may get that fight with Conor McGregor because he's got the following behind him. He's got the wins under his belt to get it. Conor McGregor may take that fight because Conor McGregor is about that money.
Yeah.
And he may take that fight for that money.
And he's not about taking the real fights right now. He's about taking situations that can be big paydays. And
yeah, why fight? Listen, Conor McGregor fights Manny Pacquiao. He's going to get killed, just like he got killed in Mayweather. Why not fight this kid who you have a good chance of beating?
Now, was this more disappointing or less disappointing than the Mayweather-McGregor fight for you?
No, Mayweather-McGregor fight wasn't disappointing at all. I think it was a great fight.
I enjoyed watching Mayweather. It was similar in the way that Mayweather was in full control of the fight for the whole time, and there was just nothing McGregor legitimately could have done in that fight to actually be competitive. And
no. Mayweather also ended the show and knocked him out. McGregor didn't hold on to save himself.
No.
He tried to fight back and he got knocked out, so it was more entertaining for that.
He was so cool about it too he was so cool about it at the end too. He's like, "Oh, no, knock the fuck out, fuck the."
Oh, he made $100 million. Why wouldn't you be cool?
Yeah, dude. And a lot of people joke about that. Would you step in a ring with X heavyweight to make $100 million? Yeah, I would.
Of course.
I would be the cartoon character that would get my ass kicked by the mountain for 5 minutes to make $10 million.
I feel that I could have done exactly what Roy Jones did in that fight.
Yeah, no.
I feel I could do the exact same thing to Mike. If Mike Tyson is going to do it, I could do the exact same thing that Roy Jones did. That was not hard to do. It didn't seem like Mike Tyson wasn't trying to rip his arms away when he was holding him. It seemed like Mike Tyson agreed. Like, all right, you want to hold me? I'll hold you too. And they just walked around.
I think you're dealing with a much kinder, gentler Mike Tyson right now. So you can kind of control him, and he's gonna go with the flow. Like Mike doesn't want to make any waves anymore, and he's not the animal that Jake Paul is. The animal looking to make a name for himself in the boxing industry.
And look, Jake Paul's a young kid. He's 20-something years old. Mike Tyson's 55, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's a difference at time. If you look at the 20-year-old Mike Tyson, it's a different man than a 55-year-old Mike Tyson.
So now after watching tonight's episode, you can tell I talk about TV shows all the time. After watching tonight's episode of boxing, would you be more apprehensive getting into the ring with 55-year-old Mike Tyson or Jake Paul right now?
I'd fight them both. Me personally.
Yeah, you personally.
I'd fight them both. Jake Paul.
Who would you have more? Who would you have more pause going into the ring before?
Still Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson still has that punch that if you do get caught with it and he does hit you with it, he could put you. You know, he could really hurt you physically for the rest of your life.
Do you officially here on this pettily, horrible 13,000 subscriber YouTube channel here? Do you officially challenge Jake Paul to a boxing match here on this show?
If he wanted to fight me, there'll be no doubt about it. I'd take that fight in a heartbeat. Are you crazy?
Someone make it happen. Carmine, you're almost big enough to make that happen.
I would make that fight in a heartbeat without a shadow of a doubt. I respect what he was doing, but I'm not Nate Robinson. I'm not someone who's never boxed before. I've boxed for many years. I would go in there.
From what you saw, tonight, would you be able to knock him out, survive? Would you have trouble?
No,
with
I
Jake
think
Paul?
I'd be able to stop him because I seen it. It's not like he had a great performance. He fought a terrible fighter.
He fought
You know
someone
what I mean?
that literally was running at him head first with his head down.
It wasn't like
that.
he fought someone that's a real skilled boxer or anything else. I fought much better boxers, and from what I seen him, he did what he had to do. I give him respect 100%. It does look like he has some type of punching power, or Nate doesn't have a chin. You know, you don't know what it truly is. Is it because look at the other YouTuber he fought? That guy was just about fought him the exact same way that Nate fought him. So he was pretty much used to it. So no, I would have no fear to get in the ring with Jake Paul or Nate Robinson or any of them that I've seen tonight. In all honesty,
Yeah, and Michael in the chat, the Tyson Rory Jones fight is over with. Tony, at your fighting, when you were fighting, what was your fighting weight? Were you a heavyweight, middleweight?
Who, me when I fought?
Yeah.
No, I was very light growing up. When I was young, I was a very light man. I didn't, when I was in high school, I wrestled at 119 pounds.
Oh, what? You 119 pounds?
Yeah, when I was a senior.
How?
Not as a senior, I wrestled 119.
What are you? Are you you're like 5'10", right? Something like that.
Yeah, 5'10".
5'10". Yeah, we're about the same height.
Yeah, so I was very small. So when I boxed, I was very small back then. I'm not the weight that I am right now. Right now I'm 180. So it's a different weight. But when I was boxing, I was very small.
Okay, so you were more in the lightweight range. Oh, you must
130. A little less than 130. I was like 108 when I was fighting.
You seem like you'd hit hard for that weight class.
A lot of people. A lot of people.
Michael in the chat. No, it was two old men dancing around. It was more dances with the stars than it was a boxing match. The highlight of the boxing night was actually a YouTuber knocking the fuck out a basketball player. That basically ended up being the highlight of the boxing evening.
Gotta have dog, and you see the whole thing is if you're not a boxer, and the problem with Nate Robinson is if you've never been punched in the face before, if you don't know how to react, if you've never been with the light shining on you in a ring with people watching you, you don't know how to react. Mike Tyson said it back in the day. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah,
that's what it is. When you're a boxer like me, I've boxed I boxed for 7 years. That's a long time. I've been punched in the face numerous times. It's not like I've been punched in the face many of times. So it doesn't shock me. It doesn't scare me to get hit. I expect to get hit, and I don't mind getting hit.
If you're not used to that, anytime you get, it's just a shock to the system. It makes your whole system go, what the fuck? And you got to run away from it. Like, someone you
have that survival instinct, right? That's like naturally built into you. The flight, you know what I mean? That if someone comes after you, got to save your life. You run away.
Exactly.
You have to be able to work through that. You have to be able to work through that, fight through that, and still maintain and fight. It's like Eddie Murphy when he said to you, with the Italian skit. He said, "Yeah, I punched the Italian guy in my face," and he said, "Come on." All right, and he didn't know what to do right there.
Oh, you just saw Rocket, didn't you? I enjoy Sylvester Stallone's movies too.
Yeah, that's a different situation. You know what I mean? It's a different situation with someone is takes just like, okay, you want to fight? Let's go.
Come on.
That's a different situation than someone who gets hit. Usually, you hit somebody, they don't want to get hit no more.
Yeah, no.
Man, 40 Black. I remember everyone used to be like, "Oh, he's crazy. You don't want to know part of 40 Black. He's crazy." I remember he fought my man E-Double, and 40 Black came like a maniac at E-Double, like a crazy guy. E-Double kicked him right in the stomach. 40 Black fell down, and he got even madder. He rushed him again. E-Double hit him again. 40 Black didn't want to fight no more. Then he just walked away. And that was it. The initial instinct was, "Oh, I'm kill you! You hit me. Boom, you hit me again. Okay, that's enough. I'm done with this."
I haven't been in a lot of fights in my life, but one of the only fights, like, I can't punch. I don't know how to physically throw fights, but I do know I know how to be hit in the head. Not that I want it all the time, but I was in a fight that some kid was like, talking shit to me, getting in my face. He punched me like 3 times in the head, and I just turned to him and I was like, "Yeah, give me another one." and I got all like Mel Gibson crazy or something, and he got scared. He was like, okay, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. Like he backed off. So, but like in that moment, it was just the adrenaline. I didn't know how to. I was like Roy Jones. Like when I engaged him afterwards, I was like, ugh. Like I didn't know what I was doing with my hands, but I knew how to. The few times I've been hit in the face, it's more like what? It's sort of like what just happened, and that's because I used to be stupid when I was young and headbutt people and headbutt myself, and I played football and used to grab my friend and we used to hit each other's heads with football helmets and shit. So I was used to sort of like getting hit in that sense, but I have zero fighting ability in the sense of like knowing what I'm doing. But I think that's in some ways. People say, you learn a martial art or you learn something, it doesn't really help you in reality. I think where it does help you in reality is the fact that you know what it's like to be hit. It doesn't necessarily help you in the sense of, you can do your moves in the moment. But if you know what it's like to engage in any physical situation or if you have any form, it's something you can rely on when you're in the moment and you act instinctually. Because as anyone knows, it's a big difference, and Tony's been talking about this tonight with Mike, but it's a big difference if you're in the middle of a situation and it gets physical, or if you're in a ring challenging your physical skills against each other. Those are two very different moments. When you're in a physical situation and it's getting like, because you're getting into a fight, it's very much all about adrenaline and energy, and like that plays a huge part, and that's a way different kind of feeling than I'm just testing my skills against you. So I think if you have some base knowledge from some sort of fighting skills, whether it be through boxing or martial art or something, at least you're familiar with that feeling, so it becomes more normal. Like it's like if you play a certain sport with if you play basketball with college pros, you're going to get better at the game, just by playing with them and just upgrading your skill set. Anyways, I'm just babbling, but yeah.
No doubt about it. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. And Nate Robinson just went in there, just figuring he's going to wash this kid and just put himself in a bad situation and got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, he got knocked out because he just didn't know what he was doing.
No, and you could see it was the first punch when he got hit behind the head and he went down. He was like, "Oh shit!" Yeah,
he doesn't look like
he didn't want to get up then. Like he didn't want to get up. He was trying to get out of the fight and get the kid disqualified from that back of the head. That's why he stayed down there. He wanted to get it right out right then because he didn't want to get hit. He wasn't built for it, and that's what you got to be. You got to be willing to take that punch. He wanted to get out, and the referee didn't let him out because he didn't disqualify him. And then he got hit again and knocked straight on his face, and that was it.
I'm a little drunk, but I don't think. So I'm not sure about this. I'm talking on my ass. I don't think Nate sparred. It didn't seem like he was even in a situation where
if he did, it seems like the people, they weren't good sparring partners. Like they didn't challenge him. They didn't try to beat him. They're probably just like his friends and stuff. It didn't seem like he trained at all. He just looked like he can get in there. I can beat you. I'll just get in there and beat you. And that's his own fault. That's why you get what you get. You got to take it serious. Like if I was to fight that guy, I couldn't fight him right now today. Now he's in much better shape than me. He's been doing it for a couple of years, I'm sure. You gave me 6 to 7 months of training and everything else. Yeah, there'd be no problem.
Again, it goes to what we were saying before. It's just you're still training. You've been doing a good workout regime, but you're training for a different thing. You're not boxing training. It's like again,
you have to go strictly boxing, jumping rope, endurance training,
exactly,
going there and everything else. And I think that would be the biggest factor. If I was able to build my endurance, I usually had good endurance. I think you outlast these dudes, and that's what happened with Conor McGregor and Mayweather. Mayweather was just in such great condition. After round 3, McGregor was gassed.
He couldn't deal with it. A couple body shots, and he couldn't deal with being able to keep your cardio up with being hit in the body, and that's a big part of boxing too, in fighting in general. Like if you need to be able to keep up your wind with getting punched in the fucking body. Question. I forgot Betty White. No. Most martial arts improve hand-eye coordination. That always helps as well. Maybe it was his brother. Has anyone else seen? Lovecraft County? Yes. If you want to see some of the best Lovecraft County coverage anywhere, definitely make sure you subscribe to Teflon TV. That's Tony Teflon.
Teflon TV.
You can see it right here on the screen. Teflon TV. Definitely subscribe to Teflon TV. Tony's got some of the best coverage for that show. I haven't watched it yet, but I have watched some of Tony's stuff, and I know he's one of the first, if not the first person I saw on YouTube that was talking about the show. And
I'm still doing videos for Lovecraft Country right now. I still drop videos once a week for it. So
yeah,
I'm still doing videos on it, hoping for season 2.
So Jalen Cummings, make sure you subscribe to Teflon TV for that shit. Yes, do it. Do it, motherfucker. So let's play Jay's message, and then we'll start to wrap things up here. I know Tony and I had a late night last night, so I don't want to keep Tony up too much here. So here we go. Yeah, we won't get into Golden Girls tonight. Someone texted me, Golden Girls, not tonight. Well, but yeah, now that I'm getting back into a podcasting rhythm, we'll Tony and I will get into the Golden Girls soon. And Tony said it on his channel, so I'll say it here too. Eventually, sooner rather than later, Tony and I get some new project that we're going to work together and do some sort of podcast. That more of a probably general topic rather than focusing on one television show or anything like that. We bullshit enough on each other's channel. It's about time we did a side project with both of us together, some sort of podcast that we got to figure out soon. So. Look for that coming up at the beginning of the new year, coming up at the beginning of 2021. So, okay, so let's listen to Jay's last message. And I think sometimes we'll do some more sports stuff. We were talking about that. We were talking about it before. Tony and I both, especially for me anyways, like the 90s, 80s sports era, we might talk about some historic series, like a historic basketball series or like a historic movie, what goes into it, or some current event shit too. So yeah, if keep an eye out for that shit coming up soon. So anyways, here's Jay's message.
A lot of the big names he didn't fight was because those people were too scared to fight him. And when I look at Mike Tyson, I just look at his defense and his offensive skill. Like at the time, he still had Customato, which is way before he went to jail, and way before he he was even fighting those other people when he lost to I don't think he was in his prime when he lost to Lennox Lewis and those other people. But when he was in his prime, back when he was 20 and younger, when whenever Cuss was still alive, I think that Mike Tyson could beat damn near anybody.
Now that is an interesting question. As someone says, Tyson versus McGregor in a boxing match right now, who wins?
Tyson would knock McGregor out. That's not fair. And what he's saying, Customato wasn't alive when he won the heavyweight champion. If you want to talk about 19-year-old, 18-year-old Mike Tyson,
who is that?
That's when Customato was alive. I mean, you can't really compare him to the 19-year-old kid fighting a grown-ass man like Lennox Lewis. And another thing, it's like I said, it's not Tyson's fault. He's only 5'9", 210 pounds. When he's fighting people like Lennox Lewis, who's 6'6", 245 pounds, everything is stacked against him.
He's
so no slight on
you're fighting
Tyson. He's just a smaller heavyweight, a small guy, and he's fighting huge monsters in there. That's why if you look at him fighting. If he fought the Klitschko brothers, these guys are almost 6'7". Deontay Wilder 6'7". These are big guys. They're tall, they're lanky, they're long. It'd be hard for him to get in on these guys. So it's not his fault. It's like saying Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano was 190 pounds, sometimes 185, and he was the heavyweight champion of the world. Could he beat Muhammad Ali at 215, 220 pounds, 6'5"? No. He couldn't beat him because he's just too small, and size is a factor. There's a reason why in boxing weight classes they jump up from 5 to 7 pounds per weight class, because that makes a big difference. 7 pounds is a huge difference when it comes to fighting. So he's just not big enough. And as for those guys ducking him, They didn't duck him. No one ducked him. Everyone wanted to fight Mike Tyson because he was the money guy.
Yeah, he was the money.
He was the guy. You fight Mike Tyson, you get rich. No one was afraid of him. He just didn't fight them.
I forget his name, but I do think people always point to the Cus D'Amato thing, but Cus died at a very early point in Mike's career. I think it was the guy that he had training him afterwards was
Kevin Rooney.
Kevin, and then Teddy Atlas. I think when Mike abandoned both of them, I think is when Mike really started to go downhill because those two people kept him in a way that he had to stay honest to his training of what he was doing with Cus. I think if he had stayed with either of those two guys, I think they would have been able to keep Mike focused in a sense. But I think once he sort of left both of those guys, that was when Tyson lost it.
And once he got rich and famous and he'd rather be a celebrity than a boxer, that's when he lost it. And that's what it comes down to.
Once he started watching repeat episodes of Head of the Class with Robin Givens in it.
And then he was like, I'd rather hit this ass. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he said it. He said, it's hard to get out and train when you're sleeping in silk sheets, which means, when you're dirty and you ain't got no money, it's easy to get out there and run at 3 a.m, do all your stuff. But once those sheets turn to silk, you're like, woo, this feels good. I don't want to get out of bed. I'm already made it.
Tony,
that's it.
Yeah, there's a whole Rocky movie about it.
Exactly.
The Rocky 3 is all about that. And Clubber Lang is still hungry. Rocky doesn't have the eye of the tiger anymore because he loses his accent. He's all prim and proper.
He's got a goddamn robot.
He's got a robot.
I mean, Jesus.
Happy birthday, Paulie.
Why would you want to train? What would you want to do? And Mickey tried to tell him, "You're not ready for the fight.
You're not ready. You can't fight the fight." And Mickey, I'm convinced that Paulie had sex with that robot. But why wouldn't you? Will you do a show in the rest of the Vikings? Yes, the final seasons of Vikings. I'm not sure if I'll do episode by episode, but I'll definitely talk about the final season of Vikings and then into the spin-off series that's on Netflix. It's going to be interesting coming into the 2021 and 2022 with a couple of series popping up on all the networks where we have the Lord of the Rings on Amazon, the Game of Thrones prequel series on HBO, and then the Vikings prequel series or sequel series that's going to be popping on Netflix. It's going to be interesting to see which one of those three shows is the one that breaks because I know they're all different in different ways, but I don't think all three of them will be a success. But anyways, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I don't want to keep Tony on here too long. It's already been we're in 3.5 hours. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. But if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to Teflon TV for Lovecraft County and all sorts of stuff popping up there. And as I mentioned, Tony and I will be doing some content soon. But Tony, what do you have coming up soon?
Well, obviously I will have more Lovecraft country stuff jumping off. I do that every week, so I always have a video of that jumping off. I also do, I do entertainment news. I do that, hip hop entertainment news. I'll do that. I'll talk about that.
I was going to joke that you're going to start doing episode recaps of The Mandalorian because it's your favorite show.
Yeah, of course.
Tony doesn't like it.
There's be a bunch of things going on there. So I do, hip hop news. If something jumps off there, anything, affecting that Black Twitter or anything like that, I'll do things like that. And I'll do reviews for all the shows that I like and definitely do things like that. So yeah, I promised them that when I got off this stream that I would go over it and I don't think anyone will be there. This is a live chat to say hi to people. So I'm gonna jump.
I know I kept you way too long. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna jump over there for a half an hour because I promised them I would do it. I probably have 3 people over there, but at least they can't say I didn't do it.
So make sure you do that. Make sure you jump over to Teflon TV after this for post show fun with Tony. It's gonna go on for a little while with you guys, and I'll listen to Tony as I go to bed in his final stream here because I was up till 6 a.m. last night talking to Tony tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't. crazy stream last.
Yeah, it was great. It was crazy. So everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend. I will be back sooner rather than later with some more fun. But it was really great getting to talk to you guys tonight. Great to see all of some faces I haven't seen in a while. It's been a good excuse to do this tonight, and we had a good reception. So maybe we'll do stuff like this again in the future. Everybody, thank you to everyone in the chat: Natalie, Santovia, Bernie, Jalen. Red Team Review. If you haven't subscribed to him already, definitely do that. And Jake Cruz. No, thank you. You are fucking amazing, and all of you guys are great tonight. And, yeah, we'll talk to you next time.